Professionally, about 2 decades experience. Started out in the gutters as a sales rep with MTN. Went on to be a part of the team that started MTN Mobile Money in about 2008. I then left MTN in about 2012 and got into a consultant with the United Nations Capital Development Fund as a digital financial services expert. The thing about this business is it really gives you more money, more problem. This guy, in 6 months, he's bought land. He's bought land. Yesterday he was telling me, Uncle, now when I go to the village, I walk around in gumboots and they are taking me around. I've got 4 acres, I've planted 3 of coffee. It is my land. And for me, I'm like, this is what I want to do. Say that Kampala Metropolitan, not Kampala District, Kampala Metropolitan produces 600 tons of plastic per day. Some of the big off-takers will process anywhere from 20 tons a day to maybe 40 tons a day. At full capacity, with 2 cycles and no electricity cuts. We don't have more than 15 of those. But let me be generous and make them 20. And if you told me I want West, I can go in and tell you based on what we have in the field, on trucks and everything, tomorrow I can deliver 38.65 tons. Do you want it?
Of good quality. Of this quality.
Of this quality.
And this one we can give you 6 tons.
6 tons. Do you want? Yes. I can pick up and say, but this pickup is buying material today. Why? Why is it that the distance between your purchases is 10 kilometers? Again, now also depends on the level of sophistication of the off-taker. Some off-takers have got state-of-the-art equipment I did not know, but someone told me, look, it's not me who is rejecting your material, but every time we put it in the machine, there is a camera that has got AI to know, and there's a light. So when light bounces off a clean surface, it reflects. If it is dirty, it doesn't reflect as much. So there's just a rejection. And I'm like, well, I did not know. I thought you did not like me. And the guy says, no, it's absolutely nothing to do with me. It's the machine. Vision attracts the right resources.
True.
You know, Messi is left-footed. The whole world knows it. He's left-footed. Logic dictates that if you are guarding a left-footed person, force him to their right. So guard him on his left. People have paid millions of dollars to people per week to watch and to do that, and they have failed. Messi has not tried to learn how to use his right foot. He focuses on his left. One of my coaches found me, when I was still playing for Uganda, he found me in a practice session.
Thank you for coming on the show, Junior. I'm very excited to have you here. Today we're talking about plastic recycling. For those who do not know you, please introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Super. Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I've watched a couple of the shows and I'm happy to make my contribution. I think it's an amazing idea. I think it's an amazing conversation. So thank you for having me. So my name is Zerubabel Kwebiiha Junior, and I think to introduce myself, starting off, firstly, I'm a Christian. My faith matters to me. That's important. It's my true north. Then I'm a husband in that order. I've been married 19 years, 20 years next year, so I'm excited about that as well. Then a father. We've got 3 children, competitive swimmers. I'm very proud of them. 2 of them have represented Uganda.
Wow.
The third one is in line this year.
To represent Uganda.
This year, next year, to really get there.
Wow.
So from a personal side, that's what I'm about. My personal purpose is to inspire and groom the next generation of leaders. And that's what drives me, that's what keeps me awake, and that's what is at the core of everything that I do. Professionally, about 2 decades experience. Started out as a coach for Uganda's ladies cricket team. I went on to play for Uganda as a cricketer. I also captained the national cricket team as well. Then started off in the gutters as a sales rep with MTN. Went on to be a part of the team that started MTN Mobile Money in about 2008. I then left MTN in about 2012 and got into a company called EzeeMoney, where I was a part of the team that started that as well. And I've consulted with the United Nations Capital Development Fund as a digital financial services expert. and then came back and worked with an energy company. So I've been quite across the board, but fundamentally commercial in strategy as well. I love the commercial part as well, and that has also been at the core of what I do. Currently, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Reclaim, and Reclaim is really building two main things. The first one is reclaiming our environment, and the second one is helping what they call waste pickers reclaim their destiny. The waste pickers are the engine that drive the collections. So these two things have to work hand in hand. I've spent 2 decades working with and building distribution networks. And what Reclaim is about is taking that wealth of 2 decades and now getting into building a business that is building the rails for Africa's recyclable waste. That's what I'm doing now. This month is our 12th month, 1 year anniversary. Absolutely excited about it, proud of what we've done. We've launched 2 hubs, we've partnered with Pepsi, and it's not even the beginning yet. I'm extremely excited about what we can and what we're going to be able to do. So I'm glad to be here and share my story and learnings as well.
Tell me about Reclaim. How did this idea come to you?
So it was birthed from 2 separate different sides. I'm a part of a church that's called Vibe Church, and one Sunday they got up and said, let's go downtown, provide a meal to the homeless and have a church session with them. And I think about 40, 50 people came. And after that, they were like, so you guys are coming next week? And they were like, we were planning.
It was an assumed question.
Yes.
Yeah.
And suddenly like, okay, we came, but who's going to come next week? And the next week they came, the next week they came, and now it's 3 years. And you've got 200 to 300 homeless people that come. Some of these people, there was a lady who had a diploma in pharmacy but was living on the street. So, I went there and I said, let me serve. And we go serve porridge, have a bit of conversations. And I realized most of these people were waste pickers. That was how they earned their living. So that registered and it stayed there. And I was thinking about how do you help these people in a sustainable way? Parallel track, a friend of mine opens a recycling company and says, Junior, come and have a look around and see. And, so I go and it's amazing, fascinating. I say, so how much tonnage do you need? We need about 3 tons a day. And it's not a big factory. Right now, they've grown to about 6, 7 tons a day. And we need 3 tons a day. I'm like, okay, so how do you collect these 3 tons? And they said, we wait for people to deliver. In my mind, I was like, okay. Then the distribution, the person in me awoke and said, okay, I would do, this is something here. And then these 2 pieces began to connect. I said, you've got people on one side who are collecting. You've got another side that wants to collect. I have been building from the people that construct, make products and sell them to the people at the bottom of the pyramid. All I need to do is the reverse. Go to the bottom of the pyramid and collect for those who need it upstream. That's how those 2 pieces came together. So then I said, with everything that I've learned over the last 20 years, how do you build a model? And so I kept thinking about it. I've tried in the last year, I've spent quite a bit of money, paid a lot of school fees.
Yes.
But I've learned a lot around how do you build a model. And that's why we say we're building rails. Because the rails are what carry anything. So today we are carrying plastic waste. Tomorrow we'll be carrying e-waste. The day after, if you want rubber, we can collect because we have built the rails. We have built the infrastructure. So what we're about is work with the waste picker. The waste picker is at the heart of it. Today, any product that you want at the bottom of the pyramid, the heart of it is the 3-wheeler rider, it's the truck driver, it is the guy that is going door to door. That's the heart of it. So that's what we're looking to build, a heart that can carry everything upstream so that it becomes a very simple conversation. We've got a network and you want to lease it, that's fine. Let's have a conversation about what do you want, what quantities, pricing, and we move forward. So that's how it kind of got birthed. And we'll still remain focused on helping these waste pickers also get out of poverty because many of them, again, are hard workers. That work is hard. It is hard. It takes time to collect 50, 100, 200 kilos. I see people, women out there who are saying, I have collected about 150, but I need to get to 250 kilos because that's what I need to pay my school fees. So I'm not going to sell to you now, but come to me in about 3 weeks. And so there's an entire economy that exists that we're oblivious to.
Of course.
That we're oblivious to. I read a report, it's unfortunate, when Chitezi, the landfill,
yes.
there were about 800 to 1,000 waste pickers that live in that area. 90% of the small businesses in a 2-kilometer radius of Kitezi are sustained by the earnings of those waste pickers.
Wow.
So the economy down there exists. It just needs time to get in and understand it, and then see how you craft it and support it to make it more efficient. You don't need to go and change anything. Just need to build efficiencies around there and help them to make their way out of that poverty. And the most important thing is the trust and loyalty. If you come in and they see that you genuinely want to help them, they will be loyal and they will work hard. There are a few bad elements.
Yes,
you cannot run away from that. But for the most part, once the core gets to understand there's an opportunity for transformation of their lives, you begin to see them either challenging their friends to get out of what they're doing that is wrong, or they chase them away. But that economy can actually manage itself. You just need to guide it. So that's how we've come to what we've done. But at the same time, now on the opposite side is you've got organizations. Many organizations are talking about ESG today. Every boardroom is talking about ESG. But there are also many organizations that don't know how to practically execute it. Everyone's going to do a lot of the same things, respectfully. We're going to be planting trees, and yes, we want to talk about the environment, but there is no clear, formal, corporate, strategic, nice structure, long-term thinking.
Replicable.
Exactly. It's not sustainable. It's not replicable. There's no one who is thinking about it from that perspective. And now for me, with 2 decades, by the grace of God, I've sat in some boardrooms. I can have a conversation with the board and explain, this is what ESG means to us. This is how it looks. This is what green branding looks for your organization. But I can also roll up my sleeves and go into the gutters and buy waste. So the ability for me to, my 2 decades allows me to shift from either side and be able to deliver what needs to be done.
What does the day-to-day operations look like?
Good. So we start off. So yesterday we launched our second hub with Crown Beverages, Pepsi in Mbale. That's the second one. We launched Hoima City in April. So we kind of month on month we've launched 2. So that's exciting. But day to day, it really, for me, from where I am, and it's get these people the money that they need. The guys in the field, it's about 2 things. Do I trust you that you've got a right-weighing scale, you're not trying to skim me? And number 2, do you pay me when I bring my material?
This is what is concerning to them.
That's what matters to them. So we've taken a bit of a step back, and I've told my guys in the field, look, to me, the life of a waste picker and my life are really the same. By the grace of God, I have sat in a boardroom, but really, it's the same life. I should not look at them any lower or any less just because of the clothes that they have on their back. It is my responsibility to help them. So we tell them, look, let's have food, basic meal, 1 meal a day at the hub. If a guy is hardworking and he comes and he's carrying a huge sack, those big bags that are nets that they are carrying are just about 40, 50 kilos.
True.
These guys walk about 12 kilometers a day to collect that. Their economies work through the night. So at about this time, they are delivering to stores. And after they deliver, they're going to get paid. They'll have breakfast somewhere around there. Then they might take a bit of a nap. And then they will pick up when the sun has kind of gone down. And they will pick again and either come to that store or a different store. So their stores are near where they sleep or where they eat. So it's almost like their route map is, you see, just like a distribution. A person who is distributing soda, carbonated drinks, has got a route plan. These guys have got their route plans. Now, in the night, when all of us are sleeping, these guys are going through trash cans. They are working with security guards to give them access to malls and everything to collect a lot of that trash so that you don't have to interface with them. You don't see as much of that happening because we are sleeping and they're collecting through the night. It's also cool in the night. So that's when their day starts. They really don't have a midnight to midday day.
Right,
their day is when the need arises. So they'll pick that, come to the stores, we do the sorting and weighing. So when they'll bring boxes, they'll bring all types of plastic. There are about 4 different types of plastic. So what they do, they'll come in and we'll pour all of it down to the floor and then sort it out. Each one of those types of plastics is, look at it this way. Every type of plastic is heated or melts at a different temperature. So the temperatures kind of tell you the different types. So then we separate the plastics, and also the different plastics go to different recyclers. So not all of them go to the same one. They go to different recyclers. So we have to sort them, and then we'll send them off to different recyclers when we get the right tonnage. We sort and then we pay. So we've got someone in our finance team whose job is just to make sure that in the morning they are paying. We can be a bit more efficient. Our next phase is really get technology involved as well, so that someone can really, he doesn't have to make a request for money. We know that they're going to need money. So we kind of go ahead of them, actually start to send them, because then all of that has been reconciled. So we send them the money and then they go out. They'll get onto trucks, they'll get onto borders, three-wheelers, some of them will walk and just go out and start buying material and then come back in the evening and then get paid. Some of them will say, look, I'm going to get a truck on my own, just give me a transport fare, then after we weigh, we can finalize what happens. So it's a very simple day. Very, very simple day. Wake up in the morning, go out into the field, facilitate them going to the field, and then buy. Now, parallel track will also have stores that buy. So those stores are almost like a hub and spoke. Our hub is the main one, and then the routes are the spokes, and at the end, they also have small other stores that will supply us in bulk. The average waste picker could give you anywhere from 30, 40. We've got some that do 100 kilos a day. That's pretty big. But we've got stores that will do 500, 1,000, 2 tons of different material. Some of those we have to advance a bit of cash because they will struggle. So it's almost like, I don't want to lose my waste pickers, but I have opportunity, but I have a limitation of capital. So can you give me an advance and then we'll reconcile? So you have quite a number of those relationships happening in the field. But again, fundamentally, it's trust at the core of it and then capital. Everything else comes after that.
It sounds like, first of all, this is very nice.
Thank you.
I'm really impressed by this. It sounds like, it doesn't even sound like you have a monetary goal at the end of this. It sounds like it is more of an altruistic,
yes,
it's a good feel, help the world kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
I'm right in this. Yeah. Where is this coming from?
So
I'm sorry. I know you mentioned your faith is at number one on the list.
Yes.
Is it tied to that, or is there something else?
Both faith and purpose. Mm-hmm. So I would say until about maybe 3 years ago, I hadn't really articulated my purpose. There are things I did easily, there are things I did well. People told me, look, I have this idea, can you help me thrash it out or something? And I did things that people used to tell me, you do this thing very easily, you should monetize it. And I was like, I don't need to. I could do it in my sleep, I could do it for free. But I went through an exercise, previous workplace, NG, and one of the things they helped me to discover, for all of us, but me in particular, was what my purpose was. And for me, my purpose, simply put, inspire and groom the next generation of leaders. I can sit and talk to you about anything to help you get to where you want to go. You've got a problem, I would like to sit down and get a piece of paper, try to thrash it out. That's at the core of what I love to do. My cricket, everything. So everything about even the way I work, the strength that I have demonstrated in my workplace, feedback that I got from my managers, from my mentors, was all around the relationships I build, how I'm willing to support, how I'm willing to help, to follow the sword for different people. So once I learned that, I said, okay, that's why this approach is different. My original distribution training, commercial training, would be build a distribution network. But when I got my purpose, it's no, fix, work and inspire the waste picker. The famous saying, take care of the pennies and the
dollars, yes,
take care of itself.
Yes.
Take care of this guy. I can say with all humility, there are people who would gladly give, I don't know what, they would sacrifice for me because of the things. 2 of my best stories. When we started Reclaim, so after I got, so let me take a step back. Right? After I got these 2 coins, the waste pickers and then the off-takers, I go back and I'm sitting with our Shamba boy at home. And they, him, I think the neighbor Shamba boy, the guys around the community. And they're like, I was like, guys, I've been talking to some people about plastic and what. And they said, Uncle, do you have some money on you? I said, I check in my wallet, I give them about 300,000. They said, let's come back. The next day, they called me and said, come. They took me to a place and I bought about 300 kilos of plastic. And said, we bought this yesterday with the money that you bought. We've actually spoken to the neighbor, and the neighbor can lease us a bit of land for 70,000 shillings a month. What we need from you is if you have about 2 million, let us build a shack, give us 1 million working capital, let us show you. I said, okay, you will.
This is it's not even a focus group.
No. And what is that? When you come into the boardroom, it is client-centric.
Yes.
Human-centered design.
Yes.
I just sat with this
It
guy.
is
and I just facilitated, and I said, and then I began to watch and say, okay, this is a distribution issue. And then my training comes in and I tell the guy, no, by the way, you're buying from this guy, but you're walking past 4, and then you buy from another. This is how you actually become more efficient. The plastic you're buying today was collected last night, not this morning. So your route should start at 7. Your first purchase should be at 7, not at 11. You're losing 4 hours. Then the training in distribution began to help them build that efficiency. Then it became, okay, so if I structure this, I'm not the only one. Everyone out there, many people buying plastic. But there are not many people who are going into the boardroom to speak to Crown Beverages. They are not. Why? Because a lot of those people there are very informal. They are fine with, I make 1 million shillings, I pay school fees, that is enough for me. Don't talk to me about your English in the boardroom. This ESG, no, that's too much English for me. But there is someone who needs to have that conversation. So that's when I began to pick and draw from the different conversation, different parts of my experience. So this guy started, and that's how the first half began. Then I said, okay. Then I went and said, we can give this material. Then I learned, oh, no, they don't take all the material. We're not interested in this material. There's this one that we want. I said, okay, but there's someone who wants this. Then I said, now you need to go upstream. Who are your off-takers? I started going out. Okay, what do you buy? What quantities do you have? Okay, and you, what do you buy? Quantities. Then I had the demand side. This is my target. How do I build to get there? There are different models. Then I begin to think, what are the different distribution models? You could do it this way. You could do point to point. You could do mass market. You could do corporate. You could do, because when you're in distribution, you've got mass market. You've got hotels, restaurants, and cafeterias. The person who sells to Serena is not the person who sells to Mama Gundi downtown. It's a different model. So who is picking from the Serena? Who is having the conversation with them? Who is going to the Sheraton? Who is partnering with the malls? Who is going to your church? Who is going to the schools? Who is building the consistency for the factories? So that, for me, was the problem. And I was like, okay, this is a very good problem to solve.
And it is big.
It is big. I can work at any time. I can work from home. I can work anywhere. I could be on the back of a truck with my laptop writing something, fold my laptop, give it to the driver, go and buy West, come back. I can write a proposal for a digital financial services rollout when I'm in the gutters with West pickers. You'd never know where it came from.
Of course.
But I can do many things. So I do consulting. I can still do this. And there's a lot that you learn. And they will tell you, when you come to them with the unit economics model, they say, boss, that is too much English. All I want to know is how much money did I pay? How much money are you paying me? What's the difference? The unit economics don't give me your English. So then I will take that English conversation away from them and let them do what they do.
Speak the language.
Yeah.
There is a saying that I learned in my corporate experience. Unless you sleep with them, eat with them, or live with them, you cannot understand them. Yes. I worked in international relations for many years, global health supply chain. And whenever we would go into a new country, new community, new environment, you come, unfortunately, with a God syndrome. This English you're talking about, it's too much, right? But you have to take a step back and sit down on the ground, wherever they are, and listen to that LC1 of that area, to what they are saying, and see how your training and experience can actually come to help these people to achieve this, right? Exactly. And then you leave this place, go to the boardroom you're talking about, and put it with the English.
Yes, and the PowerPoint that the boardroom demands. You said something very interesting. When get to their level. There is something they taught us many years ago, one of my mentors, is when you go to pitch, what you find that person doing is what you do. So I have knelt before people because they were kneeling down. I have sat on the mat before. Why? Because when you find someone and you're selling to them, but you already disconnect. So I completely understand that. We've sat down. Even the people who cook at these hubs, I have told them, look, I want to eat when I come here. Please don't cook like you're cooking for cows. These are people. I want to be able to eat this. I don't want to come here and when people are having lunch, I have to drive away. So let's make sure that the standard that we are raising across the board has consistency for all of us. If they're going to drink water, I want people to drink the same water. So that they also know that this is someone who is not just working at arm's length. It's the core of this. Yes, the core of this is trust, loyalty. They have to know that you have their interests at heart, you understand them, that you hear them. They've come and they've said, look, I've got a proposal. Let's hear it. I would like you to help me on transportation. You know, I can deliver 1.5 tons every week. I wake up in the morning, I can go to the field on Sunday. I'll go through the places and buy and move them to the road, but I need a truck to bring it back. Can you help me? To the guy, it's simple. This is an incentive structure. It's simple. If for every 1.5 tons that you can bring, I can pay 50% of the transport. And you call me before you come, so I make sure that the cash is available. And they're like, it's okay. And for those people who have seen that, they've gone. I was talking about 2 stories. One of the hubs, the one in Hoima City, is run by a guy who was earning about 300,000.
Before the introduction.
300,000 a month. Yesterday, when we were going to launch Mbali, I told him, go and teach them everything you have learned. Because I have fought with you, I have blasted you when you made the mistakes, I have done, and I've had some tough conversations with him. But I've also learned that I have to extend a bit more grace, because between where they are and where I am, there's 20 years of experience, there's so many classrooms and so on and so forth. So while I am tough on them, I have to extend grace. But I told him, go and tell them, you know what I want to see, for the most part. You know where I have been extremely tough on you on certain things. I don't want to have that same conversation. But for me, what am I thinking about? I'm thinking about building capacity, empowering him, delegating, teaching him that you cannot be the one at the hub all your life. You have to take leave. You have to go and see your family. You're married with 2 children. Who is going to be there when you're not there? So it was he said, no, I want to make my thing. I said, yes, and that's fine. It's okay, but I need you to see the big picture. I said, come, look at the big picture. The big picture is, are you going to take leave? Yes. Who is going to be there? He needs to learn. If he makes a mistake, it's okay. He will learn. These people, if they don't work, so then he said, now I see. So we went. So yes, they were coming back in the car and he said, the first time you ever paid me commission, you paid me 1 million shillings. I slept uncomfortably that night. I changed the money 5 times. I put it in this pocket. I changed it. I put it here. But you paid me 1 million shillings. I used to earn 300,000 a month. You paid me 1 million shillings in a week. Because I told him it's simple. Buy the material, bring it, you get paid instantly. And he said, he went to these guys and told them, you guys, you have to work. You've got no idea. You have to work. I told them, guys, let leave this guy with you. Let him tell you his story. This is
biblical. Yes. This is biblical. Yes. Jesus was saying, go and tell them what you've seen.
Yes. I left him there. He sat with them. He told them, guys, is it tough? Yes. Does he have high standards? Yes. Does he have high expectations? Yes. Is he going to be tough on you? Yes. When he's unhappy, will he? Yeah. He said, yes, he'll give it to you. But you can trust where his heart is. He is doing that because he sees where we can go. He's helping us to get to a place that we don't know. I can tell you that one of the greatest things I love is mentorship. One of my mentors tells me, look, I can put on my CV that I have mentored a Pan-African executive. I have been a chief in a Pan-African company, 9 markets. And he says, look, I never got to work across 9 markets like that. But through extension by you, I can say I've done that. So I look at that saying, guys, you have to realize there's something bigger. There's something bigger. My mentor, a friend of mine called Richard, I'll never forget, 2007, we're in a meeting. He called me to a meeting. I absolutely had got no idea why he called. I didn't fit in that meeting at all. First time I ever saw a business plan for a company as big as MTN. You can imagine how complex such a document is. I was like, what am I doing in this room? And he sent me a message and said, son, you don't understand, but one day you will. I have never forgotten that text. And today, when it comes to certain things around his business, he'll call me and ask me questions because he saw certain things about me I did not know. So this guy kept telling them, guys, there are things we don't know. There are things we've not seen. But this guy is trying to help us. When he's stretching us, let us go. Let us go. This guy, in 6 months, he's bought land. He's bought land. Yesterday he was telling me, Uncle, now when I go to the village, I walk around in gumboots and they are taking me around. I've got 4 acres. I've planted 3 of coffee. It is my land. And for me, I'm like, this is what I want to hear. That guy will collect all the plastic in the world that is in his reach because I have demonstrated to him that there is value in what he's doing. I have connected the dots for him in how it impacts his life. So I don't have to talk about plastic. I just need to show him that it's a tool, it's a conduit, it's a pathway to get him to where he wants to go, just like we all want to. So that's what drives me. That's what drives me, the purpose that I have to help these people just get to the transformation.
I love it. I love it, Junior. I really love it. Hard hitting. Tell me, how does the funding for this look like?
So currently, the funding has been mostly out of my pocket. When we started out, we're still funding a lot of the work. I've got I did a friends and family fundraise to a couple of guys, man. I've got this thing. Got pieces of paper, and, guys, trust me.
Business plan.
Yes, got a business plan. And some guy said, look, I've got friends who came and told me, I don't understand the whole picture. I get a bit of it. I know this is an interesting direction. I trust you. Trust that you will die trying. Here is the money.
Based on that?
Yes. I know. I trust you. The people who have put their money in, a few people, friends and family, not much, not what we need. And the thing about this business is it really gives you more money, more problems. The thing is that once people trust you that you are legitimate in how you weigh and that you buy
and
pay cash, they bring. There are no promissory notes, no IOUs. It's cash. Now, people have asked me before, what about your competitors? I said, but for 20 years, I've been in competition. When I worked with MTN, there was competition. When I worked with EzeeMoney, there was competition. Even when I worked with the UN, there was competition. And there is competition. There will always be competition. I just focus on my ball. One of my mentors told me, Lionel Messi never became the world's greatest footballer by watching Ronaldo. He focuses on his ball.
Right.
That's all he does. So I said, guys, there will be competition, but I'll focus on my ball, on what's in front of me. Now, this is what I learned, that the more trust is the best line, but the more you pay, the more people come.
Of course.
And it's not paying more, it's paying efficiently.
Yes.
So your competitors become your suppliers. So I was like, where are all the people that I was being told are competitors? No, that one is now supplying us. That one ran out of money and said that they want to lose his waste pickers, so we advance him cash and he will supply us at the same rate. So I said, oh, so all I need to do is be efficient. So the first time people asked me this question, oh, how much tonnage do you need? I said, if we can get 10 million shillings working capital, we're going to get there. And we got to 10 million. And the money was not enough. And then we got to working capital of about 80 million shillings. And we were working half the month. Okay. In this month of May, we spent the first 10 days without buying material. Because you have to get a certain tonnage before you can travel, before you can carry the material. Sometimes the off-taker's payment cycle is 7 days, and it's going to take, so there are times where you are stuck with working capital, or in receivables, or you just don't have enough just yet.
You're still piling.
You're still there. So we've been doing, I've written a couple of grant proposals, many rejections. And I think for me, having worked the development side, I understand. You get hundreds of applications. If it's not clear, it won't pass. So I've also said, okay, maybe I'm not writing this thing well. Because right now as a CEO, I'm really a one-man show. I'm a one-man show. I have to work with someone, make sure finance is paying. I have to do whatever. So there's a lot that, if you ask me, have my grants been my best work? No, they have not been. I could do them better. So I've written a couple of grants, not successful yet. I've pitched to a couple of funds and capital people. But again, part of my problem is people don't understand it. People have told me there can't be that much plastic. And I'm like, yes, there is. The last true, and the thing is that you don't have that data. The last true report that I read is about 4 years old. And it said that Kampala Metropolitan, not Kampala District, Kampala Metropolitan produces 600 tons of plastic per day. Kampala Metropolitan. Some of the big off-takers will process anywhere from 20 tons a day to maybe 40 tons a day. At full capacity, with 2 cycles and no electricity cuts. We don't have more than 15 of those. But let me be generous and make them 20. Those 20 at full capacity are going to process 400 tons. Kampala Metropolitan City's production has still not been consumed. You have not gone out of the city. So I tell people that the math is, I think it's simple. But I think that's where it is. You've got conversations in ESG in the boardroom, but the dotted lines don't seem to, no one is articulating it well in how do we take it to. And then you've got people here who have got this answer, but they can't, so this, it's like opposite sides of the same hands that are not talking to themselves. So that's kind of the bridge you want to. So the opportunity is massive. So we've been writing grant proposals. We've spoken to a couple of funds. We've pitched to a couple of them. Some are pretty interesting. Some are coming in and saying, look, we're willing to come in. So there is still nothing closed yet. A couple of interesting conversations, nothing closed yet. We're still looking at grants, but it's really been growing in our shows organically, trying to get a couple of people to come in. A few investors have come in, but that's really friends and family, not much, but that's kind of how we've been growing.
I have a question. If I'm a funder or you're pitching to me, my concern is going to be on different levels.
Yeah.
One, I know there is a plastic issue. I may not see it clearly because, like you mentioned correctly, it's a nighttime issue mostly.
Yeah.
And you're right, this is when you will see them.
Yeah.
But for me, I want to know that if I'm giving this support, what is it actually doing? What can I go back and report to my board or stakeholders, shareholders, and tell them we were able to support this company to do this, and this is what we have achieved?
Yeah.
Especially considering that the problem is really huge.
Yes.
The question that I will have, or that I will need to answer to my board is, what is the long-term, either end point or milestone that we're trying to achieve if we put this money in here?
Yeah.
How would you address this?
So I would look at it, there is something not so popular, I haven't had much of it in Uganda, but it's called green branding. And it's really, how do you get your brand to be associated as a green brand? Now, part of what you're asking is, how do we get mileage for our investment?
Yes.
And it's simple. And we've pitched this to a couple of organizations to say, it's quite simple. CEO Insights, put your money on the table and say, look, we're going to support you to open a hub in, I'll use the example, CBL, Crown Beverages. They've said we'll help you to open in Hoima and Mbale. And we want you to take all that you collect to this off-taker. So all the plastic collected here and sold, all we need to do is go with delivery notes and say, this month we delivered 1,000 kilos, 300 tons. And they can say, this is our contribution. Simply put, that's the simplest way of doing it. That we've got an off-taker. The demand for the off-takers is more than enough. And we have those relationships. The supply in the market is more than enough, and we are building those networks. It is saying, let's create a formal structure on how to do it. Now, that's where things like technology come in, and that's now our next phase, is building the technology that facilitates all of this. So that you can sit here and you can quick and say, oh, this is how much waste is being collected at different locations instantly. So you don't have to even rely on a report that I'm going to send at the end of the month. You can actually see it instantly. And that's what we're doing with some of our partners that we are in conversations with. How do we get to that level? So that is one. You can come and say, we want something that's unique for us. CEO Insights, we are going to fund, okay, we've already done Hoima and Mbale, let's leave those. Let's set up something else in Kotido. And that is going to be a co-build. We come in, we do the execution, the building and everything, you can come in. We've been speaking to banks and saying, look, you've got green financing. Everyone's talking about green financing.
This is an opportunity.
It's an opportunity.
Yeah. Put your money where you want it.
Your money can only be in one of multiple places. It's either in inventory, it's either in receivables, or it's in the bank. In only one of three. It's a very, very simple business. Very simple. And I think when I look back, part of the mistake I have made with grants and applications is I've tried to complicate it. It's a very simple business. We are collecting, we are sorting, we buy, we aggregate, we sell. Simple. Everything in the detail is what is confusing.
Yes, it's noise. So in this case, you're looking for funding grant for operating capital.
Yes.
So that when people have collected these tons, you can be able to take from them.
Yeah. So you see, when you buy with a 2-3 week cycle. When you buy today, you almost book for next week. Remember, most of these people don't have the capacity. Now, if you're talking up to someone who wants 10 tons per day, you're talking about 70 tons a week. That's one off taker. If you've got 5, you have got a need for about 500 tons. You get that by buying now, booking tomorrow and the next week. So when I take from you now, if you look at the hub and spoke, this is the hub. One route is one spoke and the different routes. If I apply this route this week, I give this route a week to collect. I need to apply this one. But if I don't go and almost prepay, because most of these people who are picking, it is really hand to mouth, cash and everything. So if someone could have material and someone comes around with a truck and says,
they will take.
You have to almost like prepay. That's for the second week. So you buy this week, collect here, and have prepaid for next week. Next you go to collection. So it's almost like the team that goes to buy and the team that collects are two different teams, one after the other. So you buy here, this one collects. You buy here, this one collects. Cycle that keeps rolling like that. So you need that working capital to keep the cycle. Now, if your off-taker is not paying cash on delivery, some of them are going to give you 7 days. That's an additional week that you need to cater for. So that this will just, you don't lose the inertia that you have with the purchases. So that is one. The other one is, and for me, the reason why I think it's fantastic is any company can choose to do it. If you're in transportation is our biggest cost item. If you're in transportation, you've got trucks that go up country, reverse logistics.
It's empty coming back.
You can say, look, I've got 7 trucks and I want to contribute. ESG is part of our strategy. I've got 7 trucks and these are my locations. I know you're in Mbale, you're in Hoima. You pay fuel. So instead of paying 700,000 for a truck, you pay 250,000 and we'll do this. Or you pay my driver. Me, I'll put in the fuel. The car is going to consume the fuel anyway. For no additional cost, you're saying we have partnered with you and you're getting your green branding. If you're a newspaper, if you're any company really that is saying we have got something in ESG, can find a way. So it's for me, I see it as clear as night and day. And I think the part of that is, so one is definitely the working capital. We need working capital facility that just doesn't allow us to keep quiet. We must not keep quiet at any one point. They must always be buying and selling. Yeah. So that's the working capital. There is, of course, running costs. Until you get to a certain tonnage, you are eating into your working capital.
True.
So we have to get to a certain tonnage.
Then it starts living on its own.
Have enough momentum.
Yes.
So we've done all our unit economics. We know that we are profitable. Our contribution margins are 40%. That's a decent business. And with inefficiencies, we're not yet using technology to optimize. We don't have things like trucks that are optimizing on transportation. With the partnership with the CBL, the equipment that they give us, the Bella, has reduced our cost of transportation by more than 60%. Now we are carrying about 3 times what we were carrying before.
Because
now it's shrunk. So when those optimizations come up, that 40% can only get better, that contribution margin. So then you get to the right tonnage and then you can cover. So right now we're still funding our operating costs. We're still losing money on that part. So part of the working capital is going to getting lost in that. And like I said, I don't get paid as a CEO. Everyone that is paid, you eat what you kill. Yeah. So it's a commission and they all understand and they know. And there are times I've deliberately left them to go without money. There is one of my guys in Hoima, he bought material leading up to the launch last month. And he must have been still about 38 tons. And again, because of that level of where they are, he had arrived. Everyone in Hoima was talking about him. Everyone in Hoima was talking about how much material he's buying. Everyone in Hoima was talking about the hub that was now branded with Pepsi. And he was, I have arrived. Then he called me and said, Uncle, I don't have money. I said, yes, I'm fully aware. And he said, send me some money. I said, no, I will not do that. He said, but why? He said, you pull out your stock book. How much stock do you have? Calculate times the cost per kilo. He was sitting on almost 50 million shillings. I said, so no, I'm not going to give you money until you send material. What is the inefficiency in that? The inefficiency in that, if I go back to the boardroom English, is cash flow efficiency. There should be someone in finance that is saying, no, more money is going until we see a truck that is dispatched. How fast are we turning around cash? If I get a loan of 10 million shillings at 1% per month, and I use that 10 million shillings 4 times, I am getting 10 million shillings. I am getting the value of 40 million shillings for the price of 10. I need someone in finance who is able to say, we've sent you 2 million shillings. Don't buy this plastic, buy this one. Because this one we're about to get to the truck level that we need to dispatch. But what are these guys doing? I've gotten 1 million shillings and I'm going to buy all these different things. I have to get into the nitty-gritty of that. So, part of the costs that we're looking at is building a team that can come in and provide that, inexpensive team that can come in and do that, at least for where we are. So working capital is definitely one. There is the operating costs there, and we want to get into technology. That's the next thing for us. And there are different people I've seen around Africa. There are about 13 companies that are doing this. But a lot of what they're building in technology is really from a consumer side. I'm building it from a distribution side. For me, it's a performance management tool.
Of course.
That's what it is. And that's why the Rails matter. So most people are saying, download our app and you're able to collect. That's okay, but if there are no Rails, yeah.
Let me ask again about the boardroom thing that they're trying to get. So you mentioned that there is branding at the hub for the organization.
Yeah.
You mentioned that they can check off that ESG checkbox in the organization. There is the good feel thing about it. Is there anything else? If you're dealing with not seasoned, but if you're dealing with I don't know how to term it, someone who is used to seeing dollars and cents,
yes.
and you come to them telling them, let's do this thing here, they might understand the general feeling of ESG, but they're trying to see where does the actual dollar come in? What is the benefit we are giving or gaining from doing this? Is there something?
Yeah, there is.
Traditional is the word I was looking for. If you meet a traditional CEO or board member who is trying to get to the core of the benefit that the company gets.
I think ultimately it depends. I can spin it from different perspectives. If I look at, for example, a bank, first of all, you already have this ESG conversation going. So you're going to spend it anyway. Whether efficiently or not is the secondary question. Yeah. So let's first start with the first thing. Is this thing a part of your strategic direction? If no, let's not continue. True. Because we're wasting each other's time.
True.
If it is, then it means you have resources you've put aside.
And this is one of the good ways. There are several options.
Yes.
But why not this one?
Now, this one is, how do we now align this back to your business? If I'm a bank, I'm saying, look, I've got a green finance. My contribution is that I am going to give you working capital at 0 interest. And my contribution is the interest amount. That's my contribution.
Right.
The working capital is always going to be my money. I want to give me the tools that show that my money is safe. That's fine. You can do that. Do you want to have, the more we grow, the more these waste pickers are growing. The more there's not, whether it's the waste pickers or the suppliers. Now, the question becomes, if your product people want to come into the gutters and sit with these people and see if there is any chance of building a product for them. Now, it might not be a product that your bank wants. You might be a high-end bank, as an example. But among your customers, there is someone who wants to talk to these people. There must be someone. You understand? However big a bank you are, you're banking an SME, you have a relationship with a school, you've got a relationship with someone who provides, there is someone on your portfolio who wants. Today, a lot of the conversation is around share of wallet. How do I get more from my existing customers? How do I build this relationship? How do I strengthen it? How do I broaden it? How do I create value for my customers beyond I bank you? How do I begin to say, I've got a partner here where I am investing. It's an outflow of cash. But there is an opportunity to connect here and see value. Now, this becomes a tripartite. You've connected me to someone else who is seeing value in what I'm doing. The value doesn't have to be directly yours. It can come indirectly because of the relationship you have with one of your customers that sees value in this. So that for me is, I think for me, to answer your question differently and respectfully, not being offensive to anyone, is there's an element of, if you're not going to be creative, you probably won't see the opportunity. If you're going to be in a straitjacket, this is how it's been, this is how it has been done, always will be done, you're most likely not going to find what's happening. But if you look at where we are today, across the world, every market is being disrupted. Creativity, if there's no creativity, you're going to struggle as an organization. So for me, it would be, number one, is this a strategic direction? Yes. Is this one of the options that you can explore? Yes. Is there any direct, beyond the brand, is there any direct value in terms of money or anything, financial or something? No. Is there anyone else that we are working with that would find benefit from such a relationship?
Into this?
Yes. And if I do this, does it create a benefit? So it might not be directly from us, but almost like rooted through another relationship. Yeah, a secondary, call it a secondary benefit. Yeah.
I see it. Tell me, when you look at the entire market of this industry, where would you say Reclaim is? At what percentage? Or if you don't have a percentage, where do you think you're coming in? At what level are you?
So I will say that I've heard of a couple of the big names around. It's a small market, again, because of my background in commercial, you have to be on the ground, you have to know. So you go into the trade and you see what everyone else is doing. So we've heard of a couple of the big names in the market, mostly informal, but they can move some serious volume. And a friend of mine told me, look, Junior, I know what you're trying to do. But these people have been in this business 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. These people are doing crazy tonnages.
True.
While they don't do things the way you do them, there is something right
that they're
doing. Go and find out. Okay, fold up my sleeves, go into the trade, pick some of the guys, ask them, what do you guys do? How do you go about it? So learn that. So it's almost like a conveyor belt. You get on, if someone is ahead of you, it's difficult for you to just catch up unless you're going to do something more.
Of course.
Yeah. So I will say that right now in this space where you have partners like Crown Beverages, I would say, we're one. I think I've had another company called West Pays, a company called EcoBricks, a couple of players in the market. There is no definite quantifiable independent data that we can look at. That's a challenge that we have. So in terms of positioning, not sure. Do I know some of the names in the market? Yes, they're there. Is anyone deliberately focused on distribution? Not the way we are doing it. A lot of them are getting into it, but they're doing other value additions. We want to focus on quantity, on quality, and consistency. So as long as, and my training, my understanding, and my pitch is, you need 1,000 tons a month. I don't want to get into spending $15 million to build a plant to also do 1,000 tons a month. No. Let me guarantee you 500 tons a month. Let's talk about how we share value. Stay in what you're good at. Let me stay in what I'm good at. Not everyone is good at everything. So there are people who have asked, are you going upstream? If I look at it differently. The question is, if I've got $15 million, where would I spend it? Yeah. So that for me is how I look at that. So I think in the market, in terms of building the rails, I would say we have quite a number of informal people out there that are moving some crazy volumes, impressive volumes. But in terms of getting it commercialized, professionalized, I've only heard of us doing it this way, and another company called West Pays in Ginger. Yeah.
The relationship with Crown Beverages, how did that come about?
Interesting. I spoke to the head of commercial, and I think we connected because I spoke a language he understood. And the way I told him, I said, look, you have got a plant that produces, distributors that sell, sub-distributors to whom they sell, with bikers that sell to shops from which you and I buy, consume, and throw the plastic.
That's clear.
That is clear. The reverse of how that bottle gets back to you does not exist. That's what I want to do for you. And because he understood the hierarchy of distribution, it was a simple conversation. We'd say, okay, I'm just flipping the coin, you know? And I said, that is it. I've been in distribution all my career. I have done this. I've built incentive models. I've built distribution models, everything in different markets. So I understand the nuances of not one thing works here and works there. So I understand that game. And I think the trust that he had in not just the idea, but me, the individual, in understanding that I'm not just coming up with a nice idea, but I have been, I have some battle scars.
Yes,
battle scars. It's like, okay, this is something interesting. We are keen to do this. Let's start. In 2 months, we've launched 2 hubs, and saying, okay, it seems you're hungry for this, because that's one of the most important things. Are you hungry enough for it? And say, look, we are hungry for this. So we've demonstrated the idea. We have demonstrated its viability. We have demonstrated our hunger. And I think they see the value in that. And, we continue having conversation how we can continue to scale. So it was really, I think, it was understanding his problem. It was understanding his problem and speaking
his language.
Yeah, speaking his language to say, look, I understand your pain. I have been in a seat where I am pushing for the numbers. I have been in a seat where I'm pushing for more outlets to be open. I've been in a seat where I am letting go of people because they're not meeting their targets. I've been in a seat where I am facilitating conversations and lobbying for more tools of trade. I understand that. But now what I'm telling you is that same conversation must be had for the reverse.
So let me ask, when you have received the bottle from the picker, it is at your hub.
Yes.
You have put it in a bale. You take it to the off-picker.
Yeah.
That's the end of the journey.
For us, that's the end of the journey.
That's the end of the journey.
Yes. But what we're having as a conversation is, and the whole thing is, it's a volumes discussion. If I'm doing 10 tons, it's the receptionist who receives me. If we're doing 300 tons, I think I can make my way up to the CEO's boardroom. 500 will sit with the board. So it's, I know that there is a place where I cannot have certain conversations unless I have the volumes to walk us into that boardroom. So I'm fully aware of that. But part of that conversation is, look, let's have a good relationship here where we put all our cards on the table. The value is upstream. It's not downstream. All the work is downstream. The hard work that no one wants to do is downstream. Let's have a conversation about how we can share in value. So if I come in and tell you, I'm buying, sorting, baling, and transporting, when it comes to you, you then crush, take it through multiple washes before you pelletize it and do whatever else you're going to do. I can tell you, look, if you could take part of that process down to me, I can add more value to the product and get better payment, rather than asking you to pay me an outrageous amount for material at this level. So let's have a conversation about what else in the value chain that you have on your side are you willing to give me, and I decentralize so that I quicken how fast you have a shorter value chain to deal with. So then you are more efficient, because you've decentralized certain things of the lower part. What things do you not want to have to do? So that's the conversation that we are looking at to say.
And this is in the grant that you write?
This is part of what so this is an off-taker conversation. So it would be a tripartite. Get a grant to have this question, because then you're looking at the different type of machinery that has to be installed at different locations. So that is something that we have spoken to some off-takers, but the real reason why that conversation is not maturing is volumes. It's volumes. That conversation only makes sense when you've got 5, 6, 7 hubs, each giving you 150 tons a month. Then it makes sense to crash at location and then send crash and washed.
Tell me, the off-takers, the ones doing these crazy volumes, when you went and sat with them and talked to them, what did you learn that they're doing that maybe you need to look into that you can do?
I think they've learned the cash cycles. They've learned the cash cycles. You're buying
optimized.
cash. Yes, you're buying cash, but then because you're a big organization, you're getting paid 30 days. You have to pay cash to ensure consistency. So how they've played around with these cash flows is interesting. Because even for the people that supply, they don't pay all of us the same terms. Some are paid cash, some are paid 7 days, some are best. Again, why? It's a volumes conversation. Your volumes allow you to have a certain conversation. So it's a bit of that inconsistency. The other one is understanding the value. They understand where the value is of how much value is in what parts of the product. So they've quickly learned that as well. And you see price changes when they get everyone is a price taker. When you see the price coming in from the importers, the people that export to, they quickly change price and then they give you a different price. So they've learned that playing with the margins to keep it well. So that's definitely one thing that we're also saying, oh, by the way, if this is our contribution margin, every time we're given a price, we must automatically. So there is that element of how do you begin to teach people that price will be volatile at some point. Now, again, you can cushion yourself on price fluctuation, but again, it's a volumes conversation. You don't want to hurt your 500 tons a month supplier by, after they've delivered 100 tons, by the way, the price has changed. No, that's a conversation which is, by the way, Herbert, we see a price change coming up. It's 1 week. Anything that you have on the road will pay you current price, but we're going to delay like this. To kind of off-take that, what we shall do is we shall increase one trip. We've been doing one trip a week or something. What we're going to do, we'll give you a truck for an extra trip so that we kind of de-risk your cost of transportation. So that conversation is, kind of partnership conversation that I've learned with them. They are willing to have that conversation as long as you bring in the volumes. So how they're managing their cash, their efficiencies, understanding of the value along the product and the value chain, and just that whole, how do you take these two conversations to really negotiate terms that work? I think that's one thing I've definitely learned. Yeah.
The pickers that you have, do you have like some form of formalized relationship, or is the relationship formalized by how efficiently you pay them? It's really formalized by how efficiently you pay them. We haven't done that. One of the things what we've done is we've given them uniforms. But I've also told the guys at the hubs, not everyone gets a uniform. It's about longevity, about consistency. We vet them and see. We tell our guys, come as you are, but don't stay as you are. If you're a thief, come, but declare that, you know what, guys, I want to work, but I have a problem. Sometimes I steal. Because and that's one thing I learned from one of my mentors, Susan Sibirwa. She told me, and she leads the church that was working with the West Speaker. She told me, Junior, this phase you're getting in, it requires grace. It requires grace. It requires grace. It requires forgiveness. It requires another chance, and you have to realize it's going to. But I love how she closed it. She said, but you also have to realize some people won't get it. So every time I'll get frustrated by something and I'll be talking to her, we meet maybe once every 6 weeks. She would tell me, Junior, it's okay. Some people won't get it. Not everyone can get it. Some people won't get it. So we tell them, get them uniforms. And again, we're trying to get them to begin to see themselves as a step higher, see themselves as a level above. We're trying to teach them there is something more to aspire to. There is something more. There is something more. And the opportunity is there. Take it. It has been given to you. Take it with both hands. Not one hand. Take it with both hands. So every time I go, it is just to reassure them that the opportunity, I have come to reassure you that I am whatever I have as an opportunity in my hands, I'm still willing to give. You need to take it. And I tell them, guys, I also want you to realize, I don't walk into every CEO's office because there are people who provide more value than I do today. They walk through. For me, I stay at the reception. But recently, there are people who are now saying, we see you're doing something with Crown Beverages. So there's something about you that they've seen that maybe we don't know yet. Now I'm getting past the reception. People who didn't listen to me last week. You're in the waiting room now.
Yes, now I'm in the waiting room. They're saying, there's a waiting room and I won't wait for 2 hours, So I told them the same thing. I won't talk to all the West speakers the same. It doesn't work that way. If you deliver 5 tons a month, I talk to you different when you deliver 10 kilos. The baseline is the same. Come in, you'll be treated well, you'll be paid on time and everything. But when I look at my resource allocation, my resource of time, I will give him more time. We all do it. So then it is to begin take the next level. All these things are things that require money, skill set, time. Is it, for me, I look at it and say, is the best of my time start contracting and doing that and managing? How does that look? You have to go and, there are so many things. I am aware of them. I just have two hands. Mm-hmm. So no, we haven't formalized. Is this something we want to do? I was talking to a friend of mine last week. I need to get them a coach, a financial coach, who can sit to them and tell them, okay, you are making 10,000. You plan for 10,000. Don't wait until you get 100,000, start planning. What does that look like? What does that journey of financial freedom look like? What's your aspiration for this year? I keep telling all my guys, if you come as you are, and after 1 year you've worked with us and you're the same, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's yours. There must be something. I keep asking my guys, what are you doing this year? What's your aspiration for this year? What are you going to do? Someday I'm going to start building. That's okay. Tell me, when you start building, I'll give you 2 bags of cement. Oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I've bought land. I want to get married. I say, well, marriage is just a day. A wedding is just a day. Are you investing in the longer term? So I need someone who is a coach. I can do some of those things. I don't do all of them well. Yeah. But there's someone who can come in and say, how does this journey look for them? So all of those are things that I have in bits, in a piece of a grant I wrote here, a piece of paper that I wrote in my notebook somewhere. I just don't have the time to aggregate all of them and get someone to say, this is what the vision is, run with this and execute on it. But ultimately, that's what we want any brand in the world to be able to call us and say, we want to do something with you. And we are sure about certain standards being met. So ultimately, all of these things become important. Things like health and safety. Those are things many people will not care about. They're telling guys, no, you need to get gloves. Yesterday, we were at the launch and said, oh, you need to start getting, masks and helmets. So all of those things are things that are in the pipeline. But when you've got only $100, there are some things that are going to kind of be put on the back burner as you do that. Yeah.
There is a common nugget in business management.
Yes.
That if you are at the top and you want to really connect with the people at the bottom, you have to go and be with them in the gutter. Mm-hmm. Experience that life. And if possible, do the actual thing that they are doing. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Have you gone and picked one day maybe or two or whatever and picked with them throughout the whole session so they see you do this? So
I want to do, I've got this idea, I've got an agency that I work with. I want to do a day in the life of a West speaker and literally, may God give me the grace to actually do it. Hopefully even try to sleep in the same place and then start the day from there. It's a rough idea, but I have an idea what I want to do. But I used to, not as much now as I would like to, but I used to go to, so one of the original first hub is about 500 meters from home. So every evening when my kids would come back on the weekend, but for me, I would also just do it. I would put on my uniform and go and just sort a couple of things, walk around, play around with the plastic, talk to them, see what is happening. So I've done it to that point. I've done a bit of loading. We used to go out and buy a bit. It's not easy, yeah? It's not easy. So, and I keep telling one of my friends says, if I can do what you do when I employ you, your job is either going to be extremely easy because I will give you everything you need because I relate, or it's going to be extremely hard because you can't lie to me. So I keep telling them, guys, for me, what you're talking about with speaking, for me, it's just another product. This is distribution. It's just another product, So I've done a bit of that. I enjoy it. I've got some ideas of what I want to do, and I want to be able to do it quite often. In my previous role, I was the country director for NG, Energy Access in Mozambique. And my boss at the time, a gentleman called Gillian, he really, really used to push us to go into the field. He really used to push us to go there, and it would get so frustrating. And I would call our friends, man, I'm like a senior head of commercial. But he was right in what he was doing. I look back now, he was right in what he was doing. He now, when I look at that way, and I go back to the days in EzeeMoney, 2012, one of my directors told me, never give me reported speech. And I didn't understand why. I had escalated something without doing enough work on it. And when he asked me, I realized, he said, never give me a reported speech. He said, because if a West picker and you look at the same situation, I get two different responses. So I am aware of that. So when I went into Mozambique, I really struggled. But I used to spend about 50% of my time in the field as a country director. And I still head of commercial. Your job is either the easiest or the hardest. You can't lie to me. You know, I used to say, I know where all the dead bodies are hidden. In this commercial, every lie you're ever going to tell in commercial, I have told before. And I've heard before. And I would tell them, guys, just come and tell me the truth, because I'm going to find out anyway, you know. So I love the field. I love to go to the field. I love to go to the field. I love to go and spend time with the guys in the field. I just wish I had more people at a senior enough level where I'm able to go and, you know, I'm fine to do all of that. But it's not just that juggling too many things at the top individually that takes away from that time. But is this something I would do? Definitely.
It gives you a lot of mileage.
Yeah, a lot of mileage.
Absolutely.
And for me, it gives me fulfillment.
Yes,
going into the field, working with the guys, the stories you tell them. Many people don't know that I have got scars. People will see me sitting on this podcast, and they'll hear me talking about different things, and I'm like, wow, what you don't know are all the mistakes I have made. I've made a ton of mistakes. And now, as part of my interview process, is when I'm interviewing someone, I am very deliberate and I say, Herbert, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Show me your scars. And I want you to tell me every bad decision you have made that you've learned from. The ones that many times people don't want to talk about or whatever. But I tell you, show me your scars. Because that for me, then I know that Herbert can go into the gutters and he can come back. If you throw something at Herbert, he's taken a punching like this and he can come back. I once sat in a boardroom. We were making 10 million shillings. I sat in a boardroom. Our monthly OPEX was about $120,000. That board meeting was 15 minutes. The shareholder said, Junior, stop. We have made a decision. We're not putting any more money in this business. You eat what you kill. But you also have the option to close this business. No hard feelings. We have made a decision. This is not the first bad investment we will have made. We are going down for lunch. You can come and join us. 15 minutes. I sat in that boardroom with a friend of mine, Richard, with the head of finance, for about an hour.
After they had left?
After they had left. And I'm like, no, guys, this is not who we are. We've started businesses before. They were tough, but, you know. And in that hour, we started cracking our heads. How do you're making 10 million shillings a month with an OPEX of 120,000. And in that hour, we thought about how to bring it from 121,000 to about $23,000. Now, we had just gotten people living good jobs and everything. These are people in whose homes we had eaten food, whose children knew us, and we were going to tell them, we are terminating the contract. We went back with that proposal down for lunch. We said, we have a suggestion. Let's not close, but let's cut from 120,000 to about 23,000. But we'll still need your support for at least the next 8 months for us to get to that 21,000 in revenue, and then we can go to eat what you kill. That was probably one of the hardest decisions I have had to make, the hardest I've had to go through. But it taught me so many things. Now growth, I'm very careful about how fast I grow. I am very careful because I know...
you don't want to choke.
Yeah, be careful. I'm very careful before I tell you to jump in. I can jump in with both feet, but I'm very careful. I tell you, leave everything and come and jump in. I have to be absolutely sure. Before I ask you, Herbert, give me your money, I want to invest in this thing. I have to have a confidence level that if I fail, you will have the confidence that there is nothing in my God-given ability I would not have done to change that. So that taught me not to be afraid, but to be a bit more thorough before I ask for a certain... I must be committed more than I'm asking you to commit. And I have to demonstrate it, not just in willingness, not just in how I say it, but I have to demonstrate it. So a lot of the people who have invested in this business today have invested without asking me to sign an agreement or something, but they know the conviction They know the strength of my character. They believe in the idea. And they're saying, look, we'll fix the paperwork. We trust you. If the worst came to the worst, it was in good faith, So that for me is what, again, the things that keep me up, that keep me going.
I'm sorry for cutting this short. When you say this, I think the lack of signature or paperwork is nothing in comparison to a person talking to you and telling you, I'm giving you the money, I trust you, you do a good thing, go ahead and do it. I think that when you sit back and think about it, that is much more stringent on you to ensure that you leave no stone unturned to achieve this goal.
Exactly. That's true. So it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of learning. For me, it's been I won't say last 3 years, have just been fantastic, amazing. Some really tough times in my professional life, but a lot of learning as well. Being able to look back and say, I had some really tough conversations with some of my, previous bosses. When I look back, I'm like, okay, if I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, there was a lot of value in what they were saying. There was a lot of truth in what they were saying. There was a lot of learning. And actually, I learned a lot of those things. I just didn't know what I had learned. Now I see its relevance.
2020.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now I see its relevance. Okay. Oh, now I see how it fits in. Now I see how I use it. Now I see how I use that skill. Or actually, I'm telling someone else to do the same thing differently, but I'm telling you the same thing. So it's an amazing boiling point, if I may call it.
Crucible.
Yeah.
You talked about financial coach for your pickers.
Yeah.
I think I might have someone that we can put you in touch with.
That's good.
We had a personal finance coach on the show. She said that there are levels in income where she cannot advise. She cannot advise to deal, for sure, right?
Yes.
And there are levels below which she also can't.
Yeah.
But she said her minimum to start talking is 10,000 shillings.
Yeah.
And this is the number that you mentioned.
Yes.
So if a person is earning 10,000 shillings, she can speak.
Yes.
If they're earning 100,000, a million, whatever, she can speak and guide them on how to, I'm not rich, but I have this money. Yes. How can I make it move further?
Good.
How can I make it grow? How can I? Yes. I think I love that idea because when you give someone or when someone comes into money and they don't have the after plan, then they will misuse in all these things, right? Yes. But if you bring a financial coach, you put them in front of these people, in this 1 meal a day that you're provided, they are sweating, but they're listening to this lady, and they get the value. You might not hit all 100%.
Correct.
1 is okay.
1 is fine.
2 is fine. Yes. But they will go away saying, they call you uncle? Uncle.
Uncle.
They say, uncle. He's going beyond.
Yes.
I like this idea.
And that for me, that is it. A lot of the things that we do, someone has inspired us. Someone has inspired us. They also need inspiration. They might not know it, but they need inspiration. They see commitment. They see commitment. They see willingness. They see sacrifice. They see these things. Sometimes they don't know how. No one has taken it and fed it to them in a language that they understand, but they need it as well. We do, one of the things that we're going to do is Christmas parties and what, and my
with the pickers.
Yeah, and my idea of that, I didn't do it well last year because it was a bit rushed, but my idea of that is I want them to dress up, and I want to take pictures before and after. So
they can see themselves in this new light.
See yourself in this light.
New perception.
And when, and you see, for me, that's why I say there are so many ways. I tell my wife and friends, guys, you know what, if you have anything old, clothes and everything to throw away, just pile them and give them to me. Okay? I go and tell these people, go take a shower. Let's first take a picture of you when you are looking as shabby as you are. Go take a shower. There's a place to shower there. We're going to get soap and everything. Get a haircut. Come, dress up. We are going and we're going to have a meal. We're going to do what? The people who are going to cook, we shall ask, guys, who cooks well for you guys? Come, cook and everything. Take pictures. Then I show you this was you before, this was you after. Which version of the two do you want? It's okay that this is your working attire. Yes, it's fine. But never forget that you can look like this. Reduce the number of days here and increase the number of days here. It is my responsibility to inspire them and show them the bridge to those two. That's as simple as that. If I do this, the plastic waste will take care of itself.
Of course.
It will take care of itself. So if I choose to focus on the plastic waste, I lose the plot. That plastic conversation is with the off-taker. With the waste picker, it is this conversation. This is what you can do. This is where you can go. This is an opportunity. Take it with both hands. And I've told them, guys, let's build a relationship. Work here, be consistent, be disciplined, hard work, share numbers are growing. That's where now technology comes in. Share numbers are growing, everything. When we get to a certain point, I am happy to have a conversation to say, you know what? I come from a certain village. We already have land, so we don't need to pay rent. All I need is working capital. And I will supply you. I am happy to have that conversation. Now you're becoming a business owner. So many offshoots. I worry sometimes that there are too many offshoots that I could lose focus.
That is possible.
So that's why getting people who are senior enough, and I've seen businesses, because I've also been in the development side, I have seen businesses lose their focus because they followed the money. So that is why I'm also saying I need people who can sit around from the table and say, no.
This is a focus group, something to sound, a sounding board.
Yes.
So,
this is what we say we're going to do. Yes, it's tough times, but this is where we're going to go. If we lose direction, this is nice, but we'd rather partner with someone who can do it. Let's give that piece of cake to someone else. Let's stick to this. Let's stick to this. Who is your customer? Figure that. You get that person, you focus on them, and you learn everything about them. My former boss used to tell me, I am your number one customer. And I never understood this. I said, but why? He said, you have to understand how I think. You have to understand how I want my reports written. You have to understand my pressures. You have to understand. He was basically telling me, you have to understand my office. That's the only way you add value to it. If you don't know the relationship I have with my boss, what I need from him, you can never be the person I need you to be to me.
True. You have to know what kind of input I want for my own implementation, so you know what output.
Exactly. So you have to know that. You have to figure that out. When you look at the telcos, everyone, one of the first questions for us, who owns the customer? Is the customer yours or mine? That question comes up. Every contract talking about IP, customer, the data will be mine. It's the same conversation. Who owns the customer? Do whatever you want to do, but the termination of your transaction is with my customer. So I decide what I'm going to charge you. However fancy your technology is, if you want to talk to my customer, you will pay its price. Because they have. So it is figuring out that and focusing on it and just becoming good at dealing with that and adding value to it every single day. That's the rail. Those are the rails that we are building. And then those rails, today we're doing plastic, tomorrow it's e-waste. It's e-waste. There's too much. Do you know how much e-waste is formally collected in Africa? 1%. 1%. And in Africa, we generate 2.5 kilos per capita of e-waste per year. At about 1.5 billion people, do the math. 1%. In my previous role, working with a solar home system company, we had to find a formal, recognized, acceptable way to dispose of e-waste. 8 months we looked for how to have it done. There was no one that met the standards. No.
And it was not your mandate to set up anything, to do it?
It was not my mandate, no. It was find the people. Proclaim, let us see your standards. Let us see how you dispose of certificates. Let us see how you're going to dispose. We want it, show me, feed it. 8 months. In Mozambique, we were looking. So it's there. Build the rails. There are people who have come and told us, we want tires because we want to create fuel that factories use for energy. But we are coming. Let's build the rails. If at some point we get people now, some of our people that we're picking from, we pick from restaurants and bars. They're saying, "Do you take glass?" We're saying we have nowhere to sell it. But
for now,
glass, paper, sacks. You'll be amazed how much value is in rubbish. I did not know.
Let me tell you. Commercial waste, I said this before, commercial waste, I think it is commercial waste disposal or something. Company in the US, number one, pick all this trash everywhere. Owned by, I think, Warren Buffett.
Yes.
I think one of the top billionaires in the world. He said, the dirtier the business, the more money in the business.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And he focuses on collecting waste at home, in the factories, in the industry, everywhere. CW trucks are moving all the time, everywhere, picking this trash.
People have asked me, Junior, are you really doing this? We've seen your profile. Many have worked with the UN. I've been a chief commercial for a company with 9 markets. And they're like, is this? And I'm like,
they look at you before and after.
Yes. I said, you have got no idea how fulfilled I am. You've got no idea. I can consult. I spend some time doing counseling with a counseling firm. I sit with men. I sit with young people. Marriages. We're talking marriages. We are talking people who are trying to figure out their career. Men are dealing. We're having those. I can find time to have those conversations. I can consult. I'm sitting down. Okay, you're doing digital financial services. I did that from 2008. We can have that. You want to do a commercial there, leadership training and coaching. I'm there. So I get gigs. I'll consult here. I'll do something there, and I enjoy it. But for me, part of what drives, what people don't know, is a lot of the raw material comes from spending time with these people, because they help me to simplify things. I really have to dumb things down. Even if I'm coming to a boardroom to speak to the board, I have learned now that the simpler, the better.
Of course.
The fewer, the better.
Of course.
You know?
Of course.
There's something I do, I haven't done it as much lately, but I do with my wife, is when I'm going to do a presentation, I was going to go for interviews and everything, I would do my presentation and I present to her. And she told me,
for review.
Yeah, she told me, boss, that's too much English there. It went over my head. What were you trying to say? She's a better commander of the English language than I am. So she says, what are you trying to say? And saying, yeah, but I think if you said it like this, it might come out better. Okay. Do you really want to say that like that? So I've learned that what many people don't realize, that a lot of this teaches me to get the real, every time something is broken, go back to the basics. This is go back to the basics. And I realized I'm writing grants, proposals, but they are all free. And I spoke to someone and said, but what exactly do you do? And he said, but why are you complicating it? You're simply buying, collecting, sorting, baling and selling. That's what you're doing. So you just buy and sell. I said, yes. Then just say that. Don't add too much English to this.
Numbers, charts, all this, many pages.
I had written a long sentence in a value proposition. After I got that, I said, no, our value proposition is simple. We'll give you quantity. We'll give you good quality waste, and we'll be consistent when we do it. So you can be sure about the quantity we're going to give you, the quality, and if we tell you it's coming on Saturday, it will be there. So if you have a cycle, which is my cycle, is a Saturday cycle, every Saturday, there will be a car there. That's our proposition. Simple. The rest, we shall clean up as we go along. I realize, keep it simple.
We had the CEO here. He's in job placement and all that. He said that we asked him a question about CV length and if it has any impact on getting the job seeker in. He said there is a tendency where people want to send huge CVs.
Yeah.
You know, the weight has something to do with qualified, right? And there are others who send 1, 2, 3 pages. And he says that these 3 pages, you'll be surprised, usually, most of the time, have way more value than these 20, 15 pages that are sent here. And he was saying, keep it simple, don't stress it.
And I think today we have too many sources of information. We have too many things that you can double check with. We are trying to impress too many different people all at the same time. It becomes murky. And yes, a lot of those things are relevant, but not to the particular person you're going to. Take some of that stuff out and just stick to that particular thing. I realized because I was getting into conversation, it was getting more frustrating to explain something which to me was extremely simple to people who are educated that couldn't understand it. So that's it. Quantity, quality, consistency. That's it. Anything outside this, we don't do that. And that's okay. We don't do that.
And you know exactly where you are. Yeah. You don't do glass, you don't do tires, you don't do paper, plastic.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah. But if you know that you're a glass company, you'll keep an eye and say, okay, if this person has got the infrastructure to carry 500 tons, what do they need to do? Is that model repeatable? Is that model, do they understand? Can those same rails carry?
Or just an accessory?
Is it exactly? Is it just another product line on the chain? When it's on a conveyor belt, just add a product line. Or do you have to build an entirely different distribution network? Simple. You just keep an eye out. We've got people who have told us, we have our eye on you. We're looking at volumes and consistency. Then let's see what happens.
They want to see how you get out of this phase.
Yes.
Whether you can fly on your own.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we see, 1 year, you're doing these 2 hubs, that's fine. You've got a partnership with CBL. That's impressive. That's quite weighty. Okay, that's let's see volumes on this relationship. Then let's have a conversation. So they are definitely there. I think part of the problem, one of my friends, I called a friend of mine, and I was telling him, have a look at this pitch deck and so on. And he said, look, Junior, this space that you're in is good space. But your biggest problem is that you can get the volumes that will unlock the capital that is needed for this. It's not that the problem is there. The problem is how big of a chunk can you bite out of the problem to attract the right funding. E-waste, for example, it's at 1%, but can you collect enough e-waste to justify setting up a
plant,
tech center, plant or something? So ultimately what we're looking to have is partnerships where all our hubs are recycling centers and tech centers. So that the plastic content goes this side, the e-waste goes a different side, and we've got a very different, for me, it's just 2 different products.
True. Pepsi and a different.
Yeah, just 2 different products. Today, there's a target for Pepsi, there's a target for Mirinda, there's a target for Mirinda Orange, a target for Mirinda Green Apple. They are different. So it is just another product line. For us, just be a different product line. And you've got a brand manager Pepsi, you've got a brand manager, it's just. So for me, that's how we look at it. People say, oh, aren't you going to get confused? No, I just need to hire someone who is a CTO that understands. I need someone in logistics who understands. Someone in collections who understands.
What does it take to set up a hub?
So, of course, one is definitely the land. You need at least half an acre minimum. An acre is good, but half an acre is minimum. The land, we list that for about 2 years. Right now, we're getting above 1 year leases, but 2 years gives you enough time to run it for a period of time. 3-phase power, that's the costly one. 3-phase power because of the baling machine. That's the costly one. And we've learned quite a bit. So the land you identify needs to be in close proximity to three-phase power. Otherwise, your cost of drawing three-phase power is extremely high. That has been a lesson that we've learned. So that is the power there. You need good, trustworthy people. You need good, trustworthy people
operate the
hub. You need trust, because you're going to spend a lot of this money in, I don't say blind faith, but your exposure is the cash out there. So you need trustworthy people, well trained. I will definitely say you need people who have been in this space. Street smart people. They have to be able to negotiate what they are buying. They have to know. They have to be able to get a glimpse of the big picture, but also know how they can go down to sell. I would say those who need to be hungry. The heart of it is that they have to be hungry. They have to know that this is a volumes business, low margin, high volumes. They have to understand that. They also have to be able to be good judges of character. Or they need help there to get the right people, because you can have one good person, but they will struggle with the people around them if they're not pushing them or challenging them to get better. Working capital is massive. So it will take you, for a good hub, you're going to spend maybe about $8,000 to $10,000. What I like about that is most of the investment is usually assets that you can use. Most of that is going to be working capital. Each hub you need easily $6,000-$7,000. You pay rent. We don't get expensive places. They're not in the city center. They're slightly on the outskirts. And then if you get a place that's next to three-phase power, it's pretty cheap to draw it down. The others are small things that you need. A lot of the things that Pepsi is providing, you've got a three-wheeler which does the transportation, and then you've got giant bags that are 1,000 kilo carriers. So those help as you're doing the sorting and everything. So if you fix the transportation, if you fix the land, if you fix the power and working capital, and then the people, those are the main things. It does take time for them to learn, especially because what we're trying to achieve is quantity, quality, consistency. Is they have to learn how whatever they're doing feeds into that. They have to understand the cycles of buying so that you're not breaking. They have to understand how to manage relationships. A lot of my guys now deal directly with the off-takers, the operations managers, the ones that are purchasing. I deal with most of the MDs and everything, but most of these guys have built that relationship. They take the material, they do the weighing, they do the verification. What they send to us is then what we use to invoice. So you kind of need someone who has is a bit rounded. They might not really be educated. They might not speak very fancy English, but they are street smart. They understand. They are loyal. They are trustworthy, and they know how to get things done. They must be proactive people. It requires, if you're reactive, you're always going to be behind the curve. And we've seen that with some of the stores that we've had before. People who were reactive, they're waiting. No, these guys are pushers. They're using the push strategy. They're going out there and they're identifying, they're setting up, they're locating, they're negotiating. They can go to the town council. If there's someone that's coming in for whatever, they can negotiate and have some element of, let me do a part of this before I call Uncle and tell him, Uncle, this thing is not working. They also have to build networks. They have people that build networks as well, with transporters. So that person there really is I'm still molding out what that profile looks like, but they also have to be able to roll there. So this is not a manager who sits back and follows instructions. This is a guy who is out in the field. He's instructing us. He's in the field. He's doing that. Then a couple of people are staying around. Each hub is now, with the partnership with the CBL, each hub will have about 10 people directly employed. I have about 4 or 5 ladies that do the sorting. Then we've got 2 people on the three-wheeler, rider and a conductor that will do that. We've got 2 to 3 technicians, we call them technicians, machine operators, that's the word, machine operators, and then you've got the manager there, that supervisor really, that will do that. So excited about what that's looking like, but that fundamentally is what it is.
The scope.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about the quality of the plastic that you receive.
Yes.
Explain this.
So the quality is really in terms of, so when material comes to the recycler, it goes through a process. First, it is shredded or cut up. Then it goes through a washing line. That washing line has got different types of chemicals. I forgot what it's called. But after that, then it goes into a dryer. Now, as it is washed, just like you wash your clothes, there's material that stays off. It might be soil, it might be different things. So if people bring dirty material, then they lose most of it. You're actually weighing soil. So if they bring dirty material, the cost to the recycler is what he loses in the process, but also they have to change their water too frequently, and that's a cost as well. So what we are saying is that the waste we are going to bring has been pre-sorted, and we also try to make sure we're buying good quality material. So even at the hub, we tell guys, look, we don't have to buy dirty material. We don't bring dirty material here. There's some people who go and just pick everything. Now we have to figure out, to which might be a next question, is, but it is still recyclable, it is still waste. What happens to it? So now that's where we need to work with people like the city councils to say, how do we dispose of what's not going to be consumed? You know, whether it's landfills or different ways of incineration or whatever other way, there has to be something, because no one is going to take that as a recycler. No one's going to take it as a recycler. So even at the recycler, they have some element.
And the selection is it subjective? The selection of the quality at the hub?
It is, you could say, fairly subjective. But what we do is, every time we have a relationship with an off-taker, we ask them, what do you want? So now we know you have to separate the bottles. There are clear bottles, there are bottles that are green, there are bottles that are brown, there are bottles that are blue, there are the small waraji bottles. Each of those is used for maybe a different thing. Some people don't want the waraji bottle because the label is glued on. So there, again, now also depends on the level of sophistication of the off-taker. Some off-takers have got state-of-the-art equipment I did not know, but someone told me, look, it's not me who is rejecting your material, but every time I put it in the machine, there is a camera that has got AI to know, and there's a light. So when light bounces off a clean surface, it reflects. If it is dirty, it doesn't reflect as much. So there's just a rejection, and I'm like, well, I did not know. I thought you did not like me. And the guy says, no, it's absolutely nothing to do with me. It's the machine. So then we learned. We burnt our fingers, but we learned. We just delivered 6 tons.
Wow.
And we had to go, and he said, look, your material has been rejected. And we had to go and pick it up and take it to an off-taker, who for him is like, again, what matters is, what is the off-taker using it for? If it's food grade, their quality standards are much higher. There are some who are simply doing flaking, and then they will export to people who will then do different things with it. So some of them will take, you have a bit of a cross-section, you won't get the same price for it. So that's why we try to say, let us not carry materials not going to be bought at the price that wanted to be bought. Yeah.
So this is where the educating the pickers comes in.
Exactly.
So that you show them, this we took, it was rejected.
Exactly.
It looks okay, but it is not.
It is not.
Don't pick this.
Don't take
Or when you bring this KCCA or whatever.
Yes. Or we know that if it is not extremely clean, we don't take it to this one. We'll take it to someone else who is okay with it. So we also, as part of what we're saying in quality, is we want to keep asking people, we've committed to delivering every Friday. Are we meeting your expectations? Did you see the quality of the bells that we brought? Does that meet your expectations? If they don't, tell us so we fix it downstream. We're having other conversations, some of our more quality sensitive off-takers, to say, you give us someone for a week. Let them come to our hub and really supervise the sorting and help us make sure we get that standard right, so that when we deliver, it's meeting your standards. Because then the process is, if you deliver, if you don't fix the quality before, when you deliver, the sorting process delays the payment process.
True.
So then your cycle of turning around receivables is not cash. It is 7 days, a week. If you're delivering large quantities, it's going to take longer to sort. So
are they doing that though? Do they give someone to come and embed with you at the hub?
So that's something that we've done for, it's going to start for the Mbale one, because it was just new, and we said, look, we're opening up a new hub this weekend. We would like to start having this conversation. This is what we've been able to do in Hoima, but Hoima is on the other side. It's going to cost us more to bring to you. We want to have this conversation with you, but want to make sure that quality standards meet. So give us someone, 1 day, 2 days, just sit there with the people, work with them, and make sure they fully understand how and why we're doing this.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. In terms of numbers of your operation, something to give us scale or where you are and what you're trying to achieve, what numbers can you share with us?
So since we launched and we started May 2024, we've collected a little over 300 tons Our first 100 tons took about 5 months. We are now doing 100 tons in 2 months. Our target now with the barley coming online is 100 tons every month starting June, because now May has gone. So we've done about 300 tons. We've done about $140,000 in sales revenue over that period. Our contribution margins about 40%, pretty decent for a business. And again, I say that with the caveat that there's still quite a number of inefficiencies that we have. In terms of people, each hub is going to have 10 people, about 10 people each. But then those are directly employed by us, and then indirectly we are going to have, each hub is going to have about 200 to 300 waste pickers and suppliers. So my distribution training is passing on to say every hub must have this mix. You must have
of personnel.
Yes, you must have this mix, and you must have 50 waste pickers that give you at least 100 kilos a week or a day. You need to have at least 10 suppliers who give you 2 tons every week. So now for me, from a performance management perspective, that's the conversation we have with the supervisor. And that's where now technology is coming in to say, I have registered. I used to tell my team in Mozambique, I didn't get it to work the way I really wanted it to work. But I told the guys, before I moved, I told the guys in finance, I want you to buy me the biggest TV you can. They bought a 70-inch TV. And I told them, put that TV where everyone passes. And then I told the analyst, every morning...
Put the new updated numbers.
I don't want you to come to my office.
Yes.
Don't come to my office to tell me how we are performing. If you're the head of commercial, when you come to my office, tell me what I do not know. Tell me what you have done about what I know. So we used to put it up the staircase. So we used to come and I would look at it, and the data analyst first told me, oh, we are struggling. I said, this TV has been put up. Switch it on and let me see. I think it was Hisense. Every day when I pass, the KPI that you have first is that the TV is on. That's the first KPI. Then the data. If I see nothing every day, it's okay, I'll deal with you. Because if an analyst cannot put the TV, then I'll deal with you. But at least you get some marks that the TV is on. So I will come in and look at the TV. So when the head of commercial comes to my office, you don't tell me, we're 18% behind the budget here. No. You tell me what you have done. That's the conversation we need to have. That's where technology is. I want to be in a meeting like this, and if you told me I want West, I can go in and tell you, based on what we have in the field, on trucks and everything, tomorrow I can deliver 38.65 tons. Do you want them?
Of good quality. Of this quality.
Of this quality.
And this one we can give you 6 tons.
6 tons. Do you want? Yes, I want. I can pick up and say, but this pickup is buying material at 11. Why? Why is it that the distance between your purchases is 10 kilometers? That is now, for me, the next level. Because then for me, it's performance management. And performance management in sales, that one I have enjoyed. It's so that's what I'm looking forward to. So that's what the numbers look like. I think that we can grow them even higher. Again, I would want to spend about a week just, mapping out the routes. That everyone that comes to the store knows that, okay, this is the Mbale store. There's the Kumi Highway. There's a Tororo one. There's one that goes to Palisa. There's one that goes to Bulambuli. There's one that goes to what? Every route has a person that is responsible for it. And that route must have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So this is how you're going to achieve. So when I ask you, show me the pathway to 80 tons a month, I must touch it. I must believe it. Because that's what distribution is about. I must see that you sold it. I must see the people. I must know them. If I am driving randomly for an introduction in Soroti, and I stop by someone who sells plastic, and I say, do you know Herbert?
And they don't know you.
And they don't know you.
Or they have not seen you.
They have not seen you. That's a different conversation. Now, that for me is the level of the conversation that I want to take this business. That it is a lot of the people are talking about it from a pull strategy. I sit and I'll wait for plastic to come. No.
They don't want to go through all this hassle that you're describing.
There is
the challenge.
Yes. I want to be able to have the technology. I'm driving in the street. I find someone, I say, you sell plastic. How much? What's your name? I go into my app. Your name? Your phone number? I take a stamp. Immediately, it creates a ticket.
Right. Take the GPS location. The truck comes later, picks it up.
And I am watching this ticket. How long does it take for us to respond? Performance management. It is distribution. At the end of the day, it's just distribution. Just distribution. And I've done that for 20 years. So you can tell I am waiting. I am waiting to have these conversations with these supervisors. I just need to free my arms on a cup. I am waiting to have these conversations. And the conversation I've been having with off-takers is to say, today, Pepsi is where Pepsi is because there's someone who wakes up every single day to sell that soda. Come rain, come shine, come violence, come riots, come politics, come elections, come what? Is a person who is selling that soda. Through a very clear structure. But Crown Beverages has invested. They have got trucks, they have got area reps who have got trucks, they are buying t-shirts, they give umbrellas, promotional items, what. That's why those things happen. That same principle applies for the reverse. I also want to run a promotion for waste collection. I have got an idea. With my previous job, my boss and I worked out and developed something which we used to call the annual sales challenge. We used to run a sales competition across 9 countries. That 3-month period used to give, now you had to time it right, because we had countries in Southern Africa, West Africa, and East Africa. Seasons are different. So you had to get the timing right. And we used to run it for a period of about 2 to 3 months. 3 months was a bit of a stretch, but we tried to stretch it as long as we could. That period used to give us more than 20% upside on our sales revenue and sales volume.
For the whole year?
For the whole year. And we would coordinate about 90 teams. So those 9 countries had about 90 regions, had almost 7,000 sales agents. And we're just running promotions. You had to have the data on point. People would sell in Uganda, and when they are closing at 10, they're like, crap, Benin is 2 hours behind us.
They're going to.
Where are they? Are they going to like it? You understand? So that hype, and we were riding on Africa loves sports. So we had a sales challenge, we had an Olympics challenge, we had a Champions League, we had just the fun of it. I want to do that for the West Pickers. I'm waiting for a 3rd location, so that you can have real competition. And tell guys, what do they want to win? The winning team will get a bull. We'll partner with CBL. And so we'll discuss this concept. We'll partner with CBL and say, we're going to run the first West Pickers competition in the world. Anyone can try to do it.
But they won't do it like you.
No. I don't know. Everyone has sold soda before, everyone has sold airtime, but no one has done it the same way. So it's that for me, is how do you bring life into it and make them realize that this is a job, this is something that they love, this is something that can transform them. How do you, now you see, that is another opportunity for, if you want to work, if you're working with young people, if you're funding youth, if you really want people out of poverty. Now, this, I've had this conversation with different people, and part of the challenges I've had is helping people to see some of these things. The biggest industry in Africa it's somehow related to fast-moving consumer goods. How many people are employed in FMCG? Now, many people don't see the waste pickers. But if we are going to collect all that plastic back, you're really saying if there are 1 million people that send down, you need 1 million people to pick up.
To balance it out.
To balance it out. Or thereabout, plus or minus 10 percentage points. But if now here they deliver, they look nice, they have promotions, they do what, and here you don't, you're never going to get a 1-to-1. You have to mirror this. You have to mirror it. So that's why for me it is, again, it is, I think it's simple. For me, I think it's simple. The minute you figure it out, keep it simple.
What kind of partners or partnerships are you looking for?
So definitely a partner like Crown Beverages is perfect and it's good. And we've seen a change in just the last 2 months that we've been working with them. People, they understand. They have a responsibility that they are saying, this is our response. We want to do part of this end producer responsibility. We are committed to it. It's part of their Pepsi positive plan. So that one is important. You've got someone who understands there is a responsibility that we have to, someone with a problem, quote unquote, if I put it that way. Off-takers is another partnership that we need. But we need off-takers that understand that they need to invest. So these two must understand that they have to invest in a distribution. I got into a bit of I digress a little bit. I got into a bit of a stiff with an off-taker who told me, why should I invest in your business? And I told him, I think that's the wrong question. You're not investing in my business. You're securing yours. Crown Beverages does not pay for trucks to invest in a distributor's business. No. They do that to ensure that their product gets to the good. They're not investing in your business. They're facilitating. The investment is to secure their business. So I told this man, you're not investing in my business. You think you are, but you're really securing your business. So this too must understand that partnership in we need to build this distribution structure. So those are partners. Development partners, people who have got grants in this space. Again, there are people who are talking about you could do capital, you could do financing, but some of that is, there are people who are also doing grants in this space. And those are definitely, at this point, you're de-risking a lot of things, trying to cover a bit of OPEX. Most of the money that we're looking to draw in, about 60 to 70% of it is going to be an asset. It's either going to be an asset, a physical asset, or it's going to be working capital. Only about 20% is going into operations. Again, the cost base is pretty thin. And what we have done in designing this is we've kind of put most of our costs as variable. So we know our cost per transport per kilo, cost commission per kilo and everything. So kind of put it up there. So again, you eat what you kill. Mm-hmm. So the cost base there and everything. So grants, people who have development partners that are looking to do that, there is definitely a partnership we're looking for there. Here, it is organizations that are saying, we want to do something in this space. What I like about broadening it as organizations is it can be tailored to what you are doing, to what organization you are. Like I gave the example. If you're Shell, if you're Total, you can say, what is your transport cost? I will give you fuel. That's all. Find the trucks, I'll give you fuel cards with fuel. And then you can say, we give 1,000 liters to this company every month. This company has transported so many kilos. This is our contribution. It's simple. It will cost them nothing.
And put it on your annual report.
Good picture. Annual report, yes. You're a bank. You've got working capital. You've got this money. Is it in your bank? You understand? You can say, we will give you. All we need is security, is confirmation that there is technology to guarantee that our money is either in inventory, or it is in the bank, or it is a receivable. The money can only be in one of three places. If it's not there, then we have a different problem. Yeah. If you're a church, I have this concept I love. Bring your waste to church. Once a month. Do you know how much waste you have at your home? Plastic waste? If I told you, try as an example, put aside water, soda, cooking oil, Vim, Royco, the Caveras from your toilet paper, just put the plastic aside. You'll be surprised how much plastic you can generate in a month. Bring your plastic to the church. Every month, once a month, bring it to the church. As Reclaim, we come, we sort it out, we weigh it, we pay the church, not you. We pay the church. You can choose to pay you, but the church, this is another way to say we are all part of this. The church is now saying, as the church, we are at the forefront of doing something about our environment. Christianity, faith is not just about, you have to be doing something. Yeah? So if you're a school, the same principle works. If you're an organization, say, guys, let us bring our plastic waste to work, and we can collect it, and we can do that. If you're a mall, I have this, I'll use, let me not use the exact example, but a restaurant. Milk packets, cooking oil, the water that you've sold, the soda you've sold, all you need to do is just put Herbert Restaurant. Reclaim official waste collection partners. Simple. There's a brand you can say, by the way, for us, we can guarantee that all the recyclable waste here, we can guarantee it goes to a recycler. Malls, same thing. Anyone who is disposing of it, it's the different ways you can do it. So I would say we're talking to a couple of funds that we're looking at coming in to fund and everything, but the different ways you can raise money. It could be the bank, it could be funds, it could be grants. Those, we need definitely financial partners. One, to take us to that point of the threshold of getting past that, tonnage, but also to build enough in terms of the distribution network to support that. CBL comes in, but there are other things that, it's almost like an ecosystem of support, if I may call it, to actually be developed. But even, I can even add one, and we're doing something with the marketing agency. And we're saying, look, you can come in and say, we don't have that much to do. And the agency can just say, look, we're going to come and we're going to handle your social media pages, 1-2 posts a week. We shall help you do this, we shall take this, And so we have someone who is doing that and they're like, okay, it is part of, again, green branding. If you're an agency, you can come and sell it to your existing customers and say, oh, by the way, we do this work for you, but we realize that you have a lot of potential offshoots. We have someone who is doing this. And you can tell that story. If you're a factory and you're an importer of products, the kavera that you're wrapping with, import, export, there is so much that there are so many places that recyclable waste gets out that any one of them can be a partner.
How are you, I know you mentioned this, touched on it, but I want to hear it clearly. How are you ensuring that you remain focused on where you are right now, and then know at which point you can take on another level?
So I have, one is I've got a couple of people that I go to for counsel. I've got a couple of advisors, people who have been in this space, people who have been in this phase of starting up a business, but people who have also matured, that I talk to and say, look, this is what I'm thinking. And, I had coffee with one of them, I think 2 days ago on Thursday, and he blatantly said, yeah, that idea is not going to fly. We were talking about something I wanted to do around funding, and he said, yeah, it's not going to fly. He said, I understand where you're coming from, and it's noble because you're doing it because of who you are. But from an investment perspective, that's not what I want you to spend money. I was thinking about how do you, I'm trying to say if Herbert puts in money, once we pass this threshold, can I put aside 10 shillings per kilo so that if I have a problem, I can go to a fund and say, Herbert, you give me $10,000, I can give you back 5. He said, yeah, no, it's not going to work. As an investor, I want you to invest every coin to grow. Every coin to grow. If we don't make money, it's a bet that I made before. But if I'm trusting you to make money, make the money by investing the money. Don't put money aside. It's like, okay. He said, I know where you're coming from. And it's good. You feel this sense of responsibility for people's money that you've taken. I don't want you to tell me that you can give me back my money. No, I want you to tell me that you can grow my money.
In fact, I don't want you to tell me that instead of investing the money the way you are supposed to do, you only put half of what I gave you.
Yes, and you're trying to guarantee me back. No. He said, no. And I remembered in my previous job, I used to go back and report sometimes, we've done this, and we have a cost saving on OPEX. And the CFO used to tell me, Junior, thank you, but if you had spent that money, would you have given us more money? I was like, I've never had that question from a CFO. And then it challenged me to spend more, So that, I have a level of people around me that are good counsel. That I trust. They know my heart, they know where I'm going, they know my struggles, they know my strengths, and there's good counsel. I want to formalize an advisory board for Reclaim, but I do have a good pool that I can pick from. That's one. 2 is my focus is I need to understand the off-taker and the loss-picker. It has to speak to those. Those are the things. Everything else is nice, it's fun. Some of these things are nice and they sound nice, but they're not practical. Someone might call me after watching, say, I've got a restaurant and you have 10 kilos a month. It's not practical for me to come and pick it up. Not now. When we have the rails that pass right outside your place, I'll take it. But right now, thank you very much. I'm excited. Let's try and figure out if we can do it. Actually, you can sell it to that person. I can come and get 1 ton from them. It won't be me. So those conversations we want to have. But I also realize that if I get into so many different things, they will just thin out. So it is, how do you build efficiency? I was having a conversation. So 2 months ago, I was like, I want to have 15 locations across Uganda, and this is how it's going to be. And I spoke to a friend of mine, going back and forth, and he said, I'm not sure it will work. I said, but distribution is about points of presence. I want, I came up with this fancy saying, I want recycling at arm's length. Anywhere you reach, you must be recycling. And he said, it sounds good. It's not practical. Because you will burn out because of working capital. You won't be efficient. This thing is going to chew cash. And the more we went through the conversation, I began to realize, the 15 locations is exposure, 15 locations is what. While on the distribution side, it makes sense from a cash management, practically, it's may make sense. So we said, okay, so we need to get certain places. And then I remember one of my previous directors told me, when they're digging for oil, they don't dig many holes. They dig one hole, but they dig it deep. They dig it deep. That hole is not behind your backyard. No, it's a particular place. It's a particular place. When you find that place, you just drill deep. And that's what business is about. Test a couple of things on the road, they will fail. The one you get, you dig deep.
Focus.
You dig deep. You focus on your ball. You don't watch your competition. Mm-hmm. You focus on your ball. I'll use that analogy of Messi. Mm-hmm. Messi is left-footed. The whole world knows it. He's left-footed. Logic dictates that if you are guarding a left-footed person, force him to their right. So guard him on his left. People have paid millions of dollars to people per week to watch and to do that. And they have failed. Messi has not tried to learn how to use his right foot. He focuses on his left. One of my coaches found me, when I was still playing for Uganda, he found me in a practice session. And I was working on something which everyone knew as a weakness. And he told me, Junior, you've dedicated about 2 hours working on this. Why? And I told him, coach, this is my weakness. I struggle with this, I'm trying to get it. He said, Junior, I picked you on this team because of this strength. If you ever lose this strength, it doesn't matter how good you are at your weakness.
I'll cut you. And in fact, I have someone else for this weakness you're working on.
From that day, I said, I don't know many things, but I know a few things. But if you sit across from me concerning the things I know, you better pay attention. I better get myself to a level where, when you're talking about surgery, oh, okay, you mean that? Oh, I did not know that. When you come into my sphere of expertise, you better pay attention. I better have what it takes to keep you at the table. That is drilling deep, no matter where we are. If you tell me go and distribute shoes, socks, cars, I better know what I'm doing. So that for me is how we, how do you, so we go to that point of saying, let's get a couple of hubs and really get them to be efficient, churning out some massive volumes. Then let's build out a certain criteria that says, how do you scale to another location, or how do you create a sub-distributor network across so that you don't have to expose yourself physically and from a resourcing perspective, but you just concentrate all of your resources centrally, but some of the other resources go to facilitate the expansion through other people.
How does it look for investors who are investing in you?
Let's see. So I think that now is a good time to come in. It's a good time to come in. We're still extremely young. They're still
vulnerable.
Still vulnerable. We're still very generous.
Yes.
But we've also begun to see. I've begun to see as well that there is more here. There's value here. So if you ask me, what would I be willing to take now compared to 3 months ago? It's a slightly different conversation. Yeah. So we have definitely looked at partners for equity as well as debt. We've been talking to a couple of people to come in and have that conversation. Some have seen it, and I've spent the last 6 weeks really, one of our partners we've been talking to, they've done their due diligence in 2 parts. And one part is the business side. And the business team is a very different team. It looks at the numbers, it looks at that, the business model, the pricing, everything, they look at that. Another part of that due diligence was understanding me.
Yes.
As the individual.
Yes.
Who is the individual behind this business? Let's talk strategy. Where is this business 3 years, 4 years, 5 years down the road? What are the places, if we were to come in and fight, what would we fight about? And so it was another 6 weeks of conversations that are really, let's look at this strategy. Do we really believe in this strategy? Do you really have the conviction, or is it just because you're desperate to get money through the door? So that part was really also got me to mature what I was thinking about. So if we had this conversation 8 weeks ago, there were things I would not have said. I did not know. There are things now because of that process that we've kind of been able to do that. So there is an element of debt equity we want to come on and bring. So for an investor, that's what we're looking at. A bit of equity, a bit of debt. For that, I think that this business can definitely grow, both locally but also regionally as well. It could be a business with some very good cash flows, and that's our priority over the next 12 months is to create the spread and just make this a cash efficient, cash positive, sustainable business as a model. And then it becomes, have you built in such a way it's replicable and expandable as well? There is a lot of opportunity with strategic partners. Again, CBL is just one of them. There are a couple of others that we're looking to talk to. But that as well is, the opportunity is, I don't think I have fully grasped how much it is. Plastic credits. I did not know they existed when I started this business. But the World Bank has funded a bond that was launched in January 2024 of plastic credits. I did not know. And I've been in this business 1 year, but it was a conversation with someone else that did that. So there is opportunity to come in and invest, and the upside is, I think it makes sense.
Unknown at this point.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Tell me, what if someone is in the corporate world?
Yeah.
You mentioned, being in limbo, being in corporate, trying to move into a new space, and you're in that middle area, right? If someone is there or watching this, what advice would you have for them?
So if I, again, look back at my own journey over the last, let me take the last 3 years, really. First of all, everything I've been doing in the corporate space is a piece of a puzzle. But many times we don't see it that way. even the most difficult times, are all pieces of the puzzle. And if you don't ask the right question, you don't know why you did that piece. So I had all these pieces. I didn't know the question I was asking. And that for me is the purpose. That's the first thing. Figure out why exactly do you do what you do. What drives you? What keeps you up? That is very important. Many of us are just going through the motions, but we just don't know why. What is the end in mind? So what? And then what? And then what? You know? So that for me is one of the most important things anyone needs to figure out. Once you know that, then you begin to see how all these pieces can help you to get to this. I know how every piece of my career fits together for what I want to achieve. I understand that now. I did not 3 years ago. I knew I had it. I did not know how they all came together to do what I'm doing now. So that's the other one. Once you have this purpose, you know, I was doing purpose, vision, understanding that there's some things I learned about purpose and vision. Vision attracts the right resources.
True.
The people who listen to this and will go above their head, it has nothing to do with their vision, and that's fine. There are people who will not invest in anything else but because of what the vision of this is. They've been waiting. There are people who won't, and that's okay. Vision attracts resources. And it attracts very specific resources. There is someone who has accumulated resources, financial networks, whatever it is, all their life, and they're seated at a table now asking, what next? What more can I do? Imagine Bill Gates has accumulated all that wealth and he's saying over the next 20 years, he's going to give it all away. He's there. He's now saying, what does that look like? The vision is what unlocks those resources. Vision, purpose, it gives conviction. That's why there are people who have nothing. They've lost money, they've done, but they'll keep doing the same thing. They're saying, no, this is the thing that's going to work. They'll get scars, but those scars are worth it because they know there is a price that has to be paid. They understand. That for me is very important. You see, this helps you understand how to use what you have. All these experience, workplaces, people, fight, whatever it is, those are all pieces. They are conduits, they are tools. You need to know how they come together to this. So in the corporate world, we don't have enough time to breathe. The Bible says, and God rested. He looked back after 6 days of creation.
And he was pleased. Why? He took a moment and thought about what he had done. He didn't create anything again after that. Everything he ever created was hidden in those 6 days. The cameras, this table, all of those things were created then. It is us who got the revelation that now we're using them. You need to look back and reflect. We don't have a lot of that. In the corporate world, we have a lot of... We're running up and down too much. We have too much noise. Yeah? I will say the power of relationships is a dying art. AI, social media, are killing that. I tell this story many times, and I love to tell it. Whoever listens to it, I hope it's useful. When I was in MTN, one of the MTN values is relationships, and it amounts to 2% of your weighting when I was there. Of your performance. Mm-hmm. So there are 5 values. One of them is, each of them carries 2. So your weighting is 90%, and my supervisor at the time, my boss, friend Richard Mwami, he used to tell me, you need to go and demonstrate that you have certain relationships. So to earn that 2%, he would sit and start asking me, okay, let us look at Fleet, because now we'll go floor by floor. Let us let UDB Towers. Mm-hmm. Fleet, which was an investment. Do you know the fleet manager? What's your relation to the fleet manager? If a member of your team had an accident in the field, so we would look at that, and then we'd assess that relationship. And you'd say, no, it's not good enough. Okay. Ground floor, human resource. Who do you know? Oh, I know this one. That person, okay, they are good. But if you have a real HR problem, they don't have the weight to move it. Okay, let us go. First floor, marketing. Who of the people in marketing can give you part of their budget? You have a very small budget.
These people are sitting with big budgets. Who can give it to you? You know, I've got this segment manager. Can you cause a meeting with the CMO? And we would go all 10 departments, network, technical, finance. And it was a painful process. There are times where he called certain people. How about, I'm here with my guy. Do you know my guy? Have you? No. He tell you, take these people for lunch. Have you had this conversation with them? Have you done this? Yes, I will help you, but I won't always be there. You must learn to build these relationships and cultivate them. Today, we have very impersonal relationships in the workplace. Very impersonal, which is very sad, you know. But I have seen the power of that in the 12 months that we set up Reclaim. Someone is calling to help, someone can advise, I can connect to this person. So relationship is definitely something that's important. Find the right mentors. Find the right mentors. For me, it is when you find people that have genuinely worked, they genuinely want to help.
Of course.
They genuinely want to help.
True.
Most of the people in the corporate space today don't have mentors. If they have, they don't have good mentors. But those who have mentors expect that if the mentor's problem. I tell people, no. If you're my mentee, it is not my problem that you want something from me. I am willing to help, but it's not my problem. So there are times where I also play hard to get deliberately, or my schedule is busy or something. Why? Because there is a certain trait you have to learn in pursuing something. So I just don't make myself easily available. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I'm trying to stretch out and see, will you call me? If I say I'm busy, are you going to give me options? Are you going to try and SMS me? If I can't do that, are you going to find another way? Are you really do you understand the price I have paid for what I'm freely giving you? Are you going to value it? So it's not just because I have said yes, that it's just that easy. So that hunger it's not that much today. I don't see it. People will tell me, oh, I had a nice conversation with you. Oh, thank you for making time. So what? I get little pleasure from having the conversation. I get a lot more from seeing you using it. Yeah. So that for me, those are some of the things I would say in the corporate space. And once you figure it out, once you start with the end in mind and you know why, most people don't have that conviction. They are afraid to leave because they don't have that conviction. They don't have that conviction. They don't have the networks of people who can tell them, we believe in you. This last 12 months has been a difficult time because I must have gotten like maybe 20 rejections. Or thank you, owing to the very many, this thing, we get very many, I can almost recite that email. We get so many applications, blah, blah, blah. While we can't give you direct feedback, please look at our resources that we have done. And I respect that. I've been on the development side, I respect that. But the rejection that comes with starting a business is not easy. But I've had people around me who are able to say, look, we still believe in you. This rejection is not a representation of your abilities. There's a friend of mine who drove a car and parked and said, I just wanted to look you in the face and tell you that I trust you. I believe that you can. I know that when you put your mind to something, you will get it done. You need those people. Every businessman will tell you there are times where the chips were all on the floor.
True.
And if it wasn't because of someone that told them, let's have a drink, I trust you. I trust you. My dad is one of my biggest supporters, but sometimes they don't call me to solve my problem. He can just call me and tell me, come home. Then you go and you tell him, you called me. What were you calling me for? He said, your mother bought some things here. I wanted you to taste what she had cooked. When I'm driving back home, then I figure out, actually, this thing I've been struggling with, I just needed to take a pause. If you don't have those people, if you don't build those relationships, it's tough. So relationships, build a mentor, be hungry. Be hungry. And also uniqueness. People look for uniqueness. People who write their CVs and say, I'm hardworking. Yeah.
Team player.
So are the other 8 billion people. They're hardworking at something. Even a lazy person is hardworking at being lazy, So, but what is unique about you? There are things that I know, but I don't like doing. I am trying to find someone who can do them for me. And I'll do for them something which I find easy to do. What's your uniqueness? What do you bring to the table? And the last one is and this is, I think, an Africa-wide thing, we don't know how to quantify value. Because of this 9 to 5, they pay your salary, they've limited your value. One of my friends, a pastor in the UK, is called Apostle Toby Arayomi, says that your salary, and no offense to employers, because I am also employing a couple of people, your salary is your cap. They've told you, grow as much as you can, up to 8 million shillings per month. And then there's a direct correlation in our minds of our value to 8 million. So we don't think beyond that. So people don't dream big. Yeah, dream big. Dream things which scare you, dream big.
They say if the dream does not scare you, it is not big enough.
Yeah, it's
you
not
need
big
to
enough.
go further.
Yeah. So that for me is, we have to understand your value. You have people who say, well, I want to get into consulting, but how do I price my services? How do I do this? I want to start for me, I like children, but I want to leave my job. I don't know what to do, but I like children. Do you know how many parents are trying to find solutions for their children? Have you gone to the gutters and started to figure out? So that for me, in there, I hope corporate people can actually find some value. If I look back at my career, those are some of the most important lessons that I would take.
In your whole 20-year career that you've mentioned, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Very, very impressive. Very impressive.
Thank you.
And I can see clearly why you were recommended to come on the show. It is very, very clear. And I hope our viewers will see it. In this period, what would you say has been your proudest moment to date?
So I've thought about, I've been asked that question a couple of times, and I've probably given different answers, but I think as I've matured, there'll always be someone who will do it better than me. When I was in MTN, I was first runner-up employee of the year in, I think, 2010. My name was on the reception. It was a placard. It's not there
Next to the CEO.
Yeah, it's not there now. When we started, we did that. We were saying, wow, mobile money has grown, what. It's not. Someone has done it better now. When I went to the UN, we did things in Zambia. There will always be someone who will do it better. I've gotten some accolades. The one thing that no one can take away is what I have poured in other people. And that for me, people who have said, I would not have done this if you hadn't helped me. I would not have achieved this because you trusted, because you believed in me, because you said this, because you spent your time. I did this when I felt like I was giving up, because you said. No one can take that away. No one can. That building block that I have put in that person's life, no one can remove. That for me is what is my proudest moment. I remember I was telling again, Richard Mwami is he has been my mentor, he has been my boss, a close personal friend for many years. And I always said, Lord, how do you honor a person like this? Give him money, he's got money. What can you give him that he does not have already? I figured it out last year. There is a lady who took on from me when I left. I recommended her, and I said, look, I think she's the person. They put her in an acting role. She was eventually promoted into the role as head of strategic marketing. There are many others, but that particular story is quite dear to me. And I remember one time I was talking to her, and I said, look, I'm proud of what you've done with this department. Because when I listened to you talk about what you're doing, at the time as a country director, so she was a support function, I would never have done it like you. I would never have done it like you. I would never have taken that department to that height. There were things that I did, but I got to a point where, honestly, it wasn't fulfilling for me. I wasn't adding the value I thought I was adding. You came in at that point, and you have taken this department to a place I would never have taken it. And I couldn't stop talking about how proud I was of what she had actually achieved. And in that moment, I realized the guarantee, the way you honor a person, like a mentor, is showing them that you've paid it forward. That is it. You can give them a watch. They'll buy a better one. You can buy them a car. They will buy a better one. You can give them everything else you give them. You can. The one thing they want to know, were you worth it when I invested in you? Did you take what I gave you? patch it up, make it better, and give it to the next person. Is that your heart? Do you carry my heart? That for me, when I look at it now, those are my proudest moments. Being able to say, someone to say, you know what? Because you trusted, because of you, I have done it. This guy I was telling you about, this guy was a Shamba boy. Yesterday he spoke from Mbale, Kampala. I almost told him, boss.
Talking about your impact.
Yes. He was telling me, boss, I was nothing in my family. I was nothing in my family. Now I am the first person they call to ask me for counsel. They ask me, what are we going to do for Christmas? Where are we going? They never used to do that. Because you have done this. Yes, I know there are times you've been tough on me. But for me, from Bali, that's a 3-4 hour drive on a Friday with traffic.
True.
I almost told him, boss, I've heard this story before. But I had to let him.
Yes.
I had to let him.
Yes.
And I told him, what you do now, the only way you honor me is by paying it forward. Find another person. Find a waste picker who has the potential. Find the diamond in the rough. That Richard told me, son, you may not see it now, but one day you will. I'll never forget that text. It was an SMS because we still had no WhatsApp there.
Right.
And for me, it is that someone saw something in me I did not know I had. The ability to see that in someone else and help them actually manifest it, that for me is my proudest moment. Everything else is good. Accolades are nice, and they are good. No, I don't take away from them. But knowing that it was worth it, that I did not selfishly keep everything to myself or did not withhold. I did not withhold from those to whom it was due, to be able, and there, so there are different people, and people see your heart, and again, a lot of that begins to unlock a lot more things. So that for me, where I am now with the maturity that I have now, my proudest moments are being able to pay it forward. Have been able to pay it forward, and someone can actually come back and say, all of this happened because you did this and helped. So, yeah, that would be it.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I have really enjoyed myself. I have learned a lot. I wish you great success.
Thank you.
I wish you continued growth. I really wish you well.
Thank you. Yes. I appreciate that very much. But yeah, to me, you as well, that this will go beyond your wildest imaginations. Beyond your wildest imaginations.
Amen.
Yeah.